Okie dokie, I believe we are all the way live. Hello and welcome to my graveyard. I am your host of the evening, the Cemetery Man from Salem, Mass. Always taking names and kicking candy ass live and Living Color here with you tonight, only on Grande's Graveyard. And tonight, oh yes, boy, it is the Phantasm series retrospective with the one and only person that I could think of to have on the show with me that loves this series like I do. He is the man, the myth, the Landrum. Hey, tonight we could just throw out Phantasm. We call it Lantasm. Matt Landrum,
Oh yeah,
buddy.
yeah.
Welcome,
What's
my
up,
friend.
dude?
How are you?
Man, I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm super excited about my first solo trip into the graveyard, man. This is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, tonight the graveyard's Morningside Cemetery tonight.
Yes.
We're taking the name down. We even put the Angel of Death on the side. We put up Matt
Yes.
Landrum was nice enough to send me this remastered poster over the weekend, and it's signed by Don Coscarelli. It was totally caught me off guard. So, dude, thank you for not only the gift, but for always being such a good friend to me. And yeah, no, I've been wanting to have you on for the longest time. I was thinking maybe Fulci movies because I know you have the dog named Fulci and you're a diehard Fulci fan, but you're also a diehard Phantasm guy. So much so that I know you used to be a part of the website, right? The Phantasm with the FAN, right?
Well, yeah. So I had my own fan website back in the day. Yeah. So you had the official site, and then back in like the late '90s, around the time that Oblivion came out, me and a bunch of other people, we kind of started spawning our own little fan sites. Mine was called the Red Planet, and there were a couple of other friends of mine that had their own sites too. We all kind of linked together, and I want to say that Phantasm.com did actually link my website in their links section. So of course, this is before social media. This is back when websites, they were the only place you could go to get information online, were like official sites or fan sites and stuff like that. So no Facebook groups, no MySpace. This is pre all that shit. But it was cool, man. Yeah. I being a 14-year-old kid with my own, I learned HTML. So I programmed that shit by hand, typed it all out. And yeah, dude, it was awesome. I had a chat room, and Reggie Bannister came through. Like, I set it up with him and Gigi, I get his wife, and they were cool enough to come in and hang out. And I found the transcript online somewhere. It's fucking terrible. Like, I mean, I didn't know what I was doing, 14, 15 years old, trying to organize like this giant chat with all these Phantasm fans coming in, and of course they're blowing him up, and he wasn't too great with technology, and it was funny. It was a time, but I can sit that on my shoulder and say that Reggie Bannister fucking came through my chat room when I was a kid. So I've got that forever.
What 14-year-old can say that? That is the coolest. That's why I'm so envious. I always feel like I was born in the wrong era. Like, that sounds so much more like my cup of tea than the modern stuff, because I love that. And the message boards, and this was, I've even heard you in the past talk about pen pals, things like
yeah.
I'm envious that you got to do stuff like that. And I think that's how you discovered Night of the Living Dead. If I remember correctly, the story you told, a pen pal told you about it, and you just kind of were like, well, let's meet both ways here. And then
that's right.
That's so cool. I wish I discovered a movie because of a pen pal. I don't even care if it was horrible. But with you, Night of the Living Dead, not a bad one there.
No. That was an awesome experience too. Yeah. So.
Certainly. Yeah, no. And that's so cool that you got to come across Reggie Bannister. And we're going to be discussing all the Phantasm movies here tonight. So I'm very happy to have you on, because I know you're an ultimate fan of Phantasm. And of course, we do have some people in the chat here. So let's get to them, because of course, AJ's Happy Fun Time channel is here, as we froze a little bit on my end. I think we're okay though. Where are these two jagaloons? I gotta shake it. Oh God! All right, AJ's here. We got Haddonfield Mascot. Haddonfield Mascot just actually got bought a shirt from me. So welcome, Haddonfield. Haha, what's up, everybody? I have a tall man 16-ounce can of Coke. L to the yeah, my friend. Jebediah Morningside in the house. The show is about to begin, sir. Yes, forget the funeral. The show is about to begin. Slasher Fred is here. Oh shit, he switched out some posters. Hell yeah! Not every day.
Yeah.
You
did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both did. I'm sorry. I swapped out my Dawn poster for my Phantasm one, but yeah, you swapped yours out too.
And Landrum's got a legit. That's an original one sheet we were talking about behind the scenes. That is a really, really cool one. It was the first one sheet Landrum ever bought. So
Yep,
Really
that's
cool.
right.
Mr. Dan goes, boy. Yes, Mr. Dan. Welcome. Cinephile World Order. Good evening, Graveyard Ghouls. Welcome, CWO. The only way to go. Pat's in the house, boy. Anthony Chobot does pop cultures and openings. Hey, buddy, how you doing? By the way, up to 2017 in the memoirs. Welcome, Anthony. We have people saying hi to one another. We got Ryan, the Hitman Hanley in the house. What's up, fellas? What's up, Ryan? Hope all's well with you, buddy. Phantasm deserves a reboot. Interesting. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Without
I don't
Don
know, man.
Coscarelli, without the core cast, I don't know about that one. Grande, you need some of that sugar-free dew. Oh, definitely. I need a tall sugar-free dew for sure. But Landrum had a cool thing planned for us tonight. We're going to do some trivia before we get into the movies. But before we even do that, I do have a little bit of a getting to know you question for Matt Landrum, if that's okay, because this is his initial, of course, solo trip into the graveyard.
You
So if
got
that's
it,
okay.
brother. Breaking my cherry, man. Let's do it.
Let's pop that cherry, if you will. Everybody cheers to a safe, happy, healthy weekend. We're going to get underway with this getting to know you question, and then Landrum's got some fun Phantasm trivia for us, and then we'll get into the reviews. So I know you visited a ton of amazing filming locations, but do you have a favorite one? And do you have one that's a bucket list thing for you that you one day want to visit? Because I know, like, you post all these great, like, I visited here, I visited here. I got to know what was the favorite for you and the one that you really want to go to.
Goodness gracious. You know, we go to Pittsburgh every single year, mainly to see George Romero locations. I'm going to tell you, going to the Monroeville Mall was life-changing. And, you know, obviously Living Dead weekend in a couple of days. I know you're about to head back over there.
Right.
Yeah, walking up to that mall was something else, man. I felt something shift inside of my fucking soul. But that's something you can go to every single day, right?
Sure.
I'm going to have to go with the Rooftop 247 Fort Pitt from Dawn of the Dead, the opening SWAT scene. Off limits. It's not something anybody can just go to. So I had kind of an experience back in June, flying my drone up there, trying to get some cool drone footage. And I fucking wrecked the drone on the roof of 247 Fort Pitt, trying to get drone footage of the opening scene from Dawn of the Dead. And of course, I fucking start panicking. And I'm like, well, first of all, there goes my drone. Second of all, I'm not going to be able to get any of the footage that I took up here. So I'm panicking. I don't know what to do. And it's like 4:30 on a Friday. So I know there's nobody in the office. So I start calling the business owner, and I keep getting put through to these after hours numbers and shit like that. And finally I got through to some representative that was able to pass the message along to the owner of the building of 247, which, if anybody doesn't know, 247 used to be George Romero's old office, the latent image back in the 70s, 60s, right? This is where, like, Night of the Living Dead, they filmed Night of the Living Dead in the basement, shit like that. So I get put through to somebody that puts my message through to the owner of the building, and he calls me back directly like 5 minutes later, and he's like, "Hey, look, I heard you had an issue on my roof." I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm really sorry. Like, you know, at this point, I just, could I please just get my drone back? Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole." And he's like, "Yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that." And he's like, "Let me make a couple of phone calls and see what I can't do." So he calls me back a few minutes later, and he's like, "Look, do you want to go to the roof? Like, would you like to go on top of the roof?" And I'm like, he goes, "Is this a bucket list thing for you?" And I'm like, "Brother, like, yes, yes, this is a fucking bucket list item for me if I could get on that roof." And he's like, "Well, I tell you what," he's like, it's Friday evening. He's like, "You know, you're gonna have to wait the weekend, but come back Monday morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, meet me out front, and you can get on the roof and you can get your drone back." And I'm like, "Oh man, thank you so much." I said, "But listen, I gotta ask, because, you know, Alpha and Will and all these other guys wanted to get up there with me." I was like, "Look, I wouldn't be a good friend if I didn't ask if I could at least get a couple of buddies to go up there with me." He's like, "Yeah, man, that's fine. Just don't bring a whole truckload of people." And I'm like, "Yes, sweet." So I'm calling them immediately. And so Monday morning, 9 a.m., we met out front of 247, and we got to go on the roof and fucking walk around and line up shots. And, you know, only a handful of people have gotten to do that. I know Sean Clark went up there with Larry a couple of years ago and got some footage. So just a really fucking rad situation that, you know, wound up working out in our favor. So I'm going to have to say that's probably my favorite out of I live in Georgia. The Friday the 13th Part 6 camp is down here. I get to visit that every year. That's one of my favorites. All these different locations that I get to go to, I'd have to say that that's going to be my favorite just because of the situation surrounding it. And because I got to share it with my friends that loved it just as much as I did.
That's incredible. That's such an
Yeah.
incredible story. Like, and the fact that you were so cool to think of them too, like that's the coolest thing. I probably would have been afraid to be like, all right, yeah, I know I crashed this on your roof, and I know you're letting me go on the roof, but can I bring my friends too? Like,
Dude, oh man, I cringed. I was like, oh please, please, please don't be a dick about this. And luckily he's the fucking sweetest, nicest dude that I talked to, which I'm not going to share any of that information about who it was or what number I called or anything like that. I don't want people like flooding. And again, I'm not trying to be a gatekeeper, but it's like, that's something really cool. And I was kind of leaning on this dude's hospitality a little bit. And but yeah, just a fucking awesome situation. So that's my favorite bucket list. And I know we're talking about it tonight, but bucket list, the Dunsmuir Mansion. I've got to go. I've never been out west. I've never been on a fucking plane, believe it or not. Everywhere I go, really? I drive. Yeah. Every year we go to Pittsburgh, we drive, brother. So that's something that we're planning on doing. I think I told you we're planning on hitting the Dunsmuir, which is right there near San Francisco, and then making the 2-hour trek up to the Point Reyes Lighthouse from the fog. So
very nice. Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the Dunsmuir, man, I gotta make it out there one day. So that's my bucket list for sure.
It's definitely on mine too, not just even for this movie, but also for a little movie called Burnt Offerings.
Burnt Offerings, yeah.
Yeah, I always wanted to visit there. I've never been out west either. I've been plenty of East Coast and like Central, but never out west. Never been to Cali in my life, but I will someday. Maybe I'll meet you down there. Maybe just maybe we'll meet in the Dunsmuir Mansion. That would be quite a place to meet.
So wait, so you're not a So I Married an Axe Murderer fan? I thought that's why you like the Dunsmuir Mansion.
I do love. What's so funny you mentioned that they're actually playing that by me this weekend, but of course it would be away. But I did see they were playing. I was like, what the heck of all the movies to play towards the end of October? That is such a rad pick. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny.
Cool. We got Mr. Dan Horace says, I just went to the Monroeville Mall. Great experience. Yeah, it really is. And I'm very excited to go tomorrow. If anyone's going, please let me know and say hi. Miss C is here. Ciao, Grande and Graveyardi and friends. We got Dr. Howdy 666. What up, Graveyard fam? What up, Will? Hope all is well. AJ says, yes, reboot. Tall man could be Bill Skarsgård.
No, I know he's fucking with us, right?
Yeah, he is definitely. He just wants to send me to an early grave. If they did that, if Bill Skarsgård, I would die probably. Love those drone adventures, Matt. Yeah, Matt has it's a Drone of the Dead, which is the cool with the poster. It was a sticker on the poster package that he sent over. So really cool. Go check out. Matt has some really cool drone footage and stuff. And I love that whole story is beautiful. It's like what to do to turn a negative into a positive situation.
Yeah.
It's you got to do. It's like, man, it's like, what else can I crash up there? What's the next place I can crash this drone? Like,
right.
Ciao, Grani and Matt, love Phantasm Saga, especially interested to hear your opinions. Go Blue Jays. Yes, congrats on your Blue Jays, Mateo. They'll be in the World Series tomorrow. I'm pulling for you guys. I know probably most of America is probably pulling for the Jays too, because the Dodgers are so damn hated. But yes, we love Phantasm 1 and 2 as well. We're going to talk all about it. Point Reyes, excellent blue cheese, and not too shabby last name either. Okay. But all right. I guess we'll get in. You know what we'll do? Is it okay if we each movie, of course, you have one question for. So for people in the chat, we're going to review all 5 Phantasm movies. And Matt has one question from each film that we're going to do trivia for. I figured we could talk about each film individually, and at the end, we could just do a trivia question. And it's first come, first serve. So if you get it right, you get the point. And then, of course, whoever's the most points at the end. Matt has a little bit of a giveaway. Do you want to divulge what the giveaway is? Because I don't even know what the giveaway is, to be perfectly honest with you.
Absolutely. So let's see. I think what I was going to do is whoever gets the most number of correct answers, I've got the Phantasm Remastered Steelbook. So whoever wins, I'll mail this out to you. You can send me your address. I'll put my email in the comments, or if you want to reach out to me at YouTube at Drone of the Dead, just let me know and I'll get this shipped out to you. I also have a bonus question.
Oh,
so this could either be whether it's a tiebreaker or a bonus for whoever has the most. I'm going to offer up this VHS copy of Phantasm. So
that's
just free stuff. Yeah, just free stuff, man. So whoever wants it, just answer the questions correctly. Only stipulation, no Google. You have
No
to know what the
Google.
answer is. No Googling.
You've been warned, or the spear will come and get you.
There you go.
But all right. So with that all being said, I say we start this thing off hot. We start this thing off with a little movie that could from 1979, of course, directed by Don Coscarelli, who had been an up and comer, right? The guy that had made movies like Jim, the World's Greatest, and of course Kenny and Company, which was also like a Halloween season movie. Not a bad one, cool little coming of age movie. But it all started here with this particular franchise. It all started with this movie. I'm talking about Phantasm. Yes, Phantasm from 1979. And of course, brief plot synopsis. Newly orphaned teenager Mike Pearson, his older brother Jody, and their friends face off against a mysterious grave robber known as the Tall Man, who employs a lethal arsenal of unearthly weapons in their Southern California town. Matt Landrum, man, please walk me through the first time you ever recall seeing Phantasm, because I know this one's special for you particularly. Walk me
It
through it.
is.
Do you remember the first viewing of this?
Well, so the first Phantasm that I ever saw was part 3. I remember it was probably 95. I want to say 95-ish, whenever it would have been on syndication or television. So I think I saw Phantasm 3 on HBO or something like that. I have a very specific memory of seeing Reggie Bannister driving. It was after Mike got taken by the Tall Man and Reggie driving in the fucking CUDA. It's like seared into my head. So I saw that, and I've obviously, like any fucking 10 or 11-year-old kid, what is this shit that I just saw? I have no idea what I'm watching. So I had to go seek out the original. So mom and pop store, pretty much the same story that I hear from almost everybody. VHS copy, took it home, popped it in, and just what the fuck? What did I just watch? I have no idea what I just watched. And being a kid about that age, I'm experiencing things I've never felt before. I'm trying to come to terms with some things. I'm kind of coming to terms with my own mortality. Had family members that passed away and stuff like that, and really kind of understanding what death is. And but watching Phantasm, I'm just like, I have no fucking idea what this is, but I know that I love it. There's something about it, right? There's just something about this movie that what I don't grasp exactly what it is, but the beautiful thing is I don't think that you're supposed to, right? Like Phantasm and the Phantasm series in general it's an interpretive vehicle. That's how I've heard it been described in the past. I think Don Coscarelli actually described it as that. It's whatever you want it to be. It's intentionally surreal, right? And it's supposed to be it's metaphoric, it's conceptual, it's whatever you want it to be. So I've had years and years and years to kind of think about what Phantasm means to me. And after seeing it for the first time, not really truly getting it, it took me sort of growing up and maturing to figure out that this is a film it's a meditation about death and grief. Right?
Sure.
You have
Yes.
you have this young boy who is grieving, what you find out towards the end of the movie. He's actually been grieving the death of his brother, right? His parents are gone. The whole film, he's chasing his brother, right? And you don't really know why he's trying to chase him. And even Jody says, I don't know why I can't shake him. He's just, this kid keeps chasing me. It's because that's him processing his brother's death. His brother left him. He's afraid of being abandoned. I'm going real fucking philosophical with this shit, brother. I'm just telling you, hang
Well, no,
tight.
I'm happy you're going there because I'm the
Yeah.
same. That's what I see Phantasm as too. Like there's so much to dissect, right? And I mean,
There
there's
is.
the whole. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is when Mike goes to the gypsy woman with the Aussie
Mhm.
glasses, and he sits in the room, and she says, "You need to put your hand in the box." Why? Put your hand in the box. He puts his hand in the box, and he's being grabbed and pulled and hurt, and he's like, "This hurts! Like, stop this! Stop this!" And they tell him, "You've got to let go of the fear. You've got to learn not to fear it." And
Right.
once he calms down, he's able to take his hand out. And on the paper, it's like, wait a minute, what bearing does that have on anything? It's everything. It's in a
Right.
lot of ways his character's arc of, yeah, the parents have passed away. Of course, you learn at the end that Jody's passed away.
Mhm.
You have to deal with your grief and let go of the fear that you have coming of age and moving forward. And I think that's the
Right.
beauty of Phantasm. And to take a story like that and drop it into this wonderful atmospheric horror world and Morningside Cemetery and the Tall Man and the Jawas and all of this stuff. I mean, it's just a very grand picture overall.
It is.
I love it, and I'm sure, obviously, the cast is a big part of that for me.
Mhm.
What do you think of this cast? Because I think everybody does such a good job.
Oh yeah, everybody's awesome in it. And I even think whatever your feelings are about Michael Baldwin later on in the series, I think he was a fucking fantastic actor in this first one. And I don't know if you've ever seen Kenny and Company, the movie before
I have
Phantasm.
actually. That's a
Yeah, yeah.
cute little movie. Yeah.
It is, and Michael Baldwin is in that. He plays a character named Doug, and it's that film shares a lot of DNA with Phantasm.
Oh, of
But
course. Yeah.
he was great in that too, and he's actually Don Coscarelli in the past has said that Michael Baldwin was his like the greatest to him. Michael Baldwin was the greatest child actor ever. But yeah, I think everybody did a phenomenal job. I love Reggie Bannister, and I know he wasn't in the film as much as the other characters. um, I feel like he really shined towards the end of the film. That scene at the end on the fireplace where he and Mike are kind of bonding. He's promising to take care of Mike moving forward. I think you really see Reggie's chops come through there. And then of course that sets us up for the rest of the series too. But yeah, just a fantastic, fantastic cast. I love it. So, what about you? How do you feel?
Oh no, I'm completely in that same ballpark too. And like to me, the heart and soul of the series is as good as much as I love Reggie, as much as I love A. Michael Baldwin and of course Bill Thornberry as Jody. To me, the series it lives, it breathes, it dies with Angus Scrimm as the Tall
Oh
Man,
yeah,
who
absolutely.
just to me had such a tremendous presence and the mannerisms, the way that he walks, right? He wore the suits that were 3 sizes too small to make him look more intimidating, and the shoes with the
Hmm.
platforms as he's walking down the street. Just a scary guy, man. And
Oh
I
yeah.
always I say, the best thing that you want to be when you're a movie monster or a movie antagonist, villain, what have you want to have that screen presence, right? Tony Todd is the Candyman, always brought that great classical universal monster feel to a story that was written by Clive Barker, right? And Candyman. And then you look at even the older, the actual Universal monster movies, right? Where there'd be Karloff as the monster or Lugosi as Dracula, or last week we were talking about Lon Chaney Jr. I mean, so
Hmm.
many of these guys, they brought such a tremendous presence. And I look at Angus Scrimm right along those lines as one of those guys. Excuse me, sir. The funeral's about to begin.
Oh
He's
yeah.
great. The voice, the presence, is everything about it. I think he's just great, and like I don't think you could do Phantasm without him. I know somebody asked before,
No,
would you reboot it? Not you can not without Angus Scrimm. Not way, like
no.
no goddamn way. No.
So it would have been, I think it was sometime around 2005. I don't remember what, I think it was New Line or somebody was threatening a reboot. It was going to be a trilogy, and it was going to be kind of like what we have with Ghostbusters and shit like that now, where it's going to be all new characters and then have the legacy folks come in at the end for a cameo. Um, which dude, I'm sorry. Like I understand, and I understand wanting to sort of prolong the legacy and continue it and going on and so forth, but I don't think that's a good idea. And like you said, there is no Phantasm without Angus Scrimm. There just isn't. So yeah, but but let me ask you this: what is your interpretation of Phantasm? What do you think it is? Do you think that it's what are your feelings on it?
I'm with you with everything you said about grief, because I think that when you watch the movie on paper, there is so much going on. I've actually shown it to several people in my life and generally get the conclusion of, oh, it was a little all over the place. It was a little confusing. It was kind of crazy. Like, and I get that. I totally understand people kind of being like, this is too wacky for me. I agree with you. It totally is. I think it's a coming of age story about releasing the fear of grief. I think that's the whole
Yes,
point of it. And then obviously, I know this was a movie that was about 3 hours long in its original cut,
originally, yeah.
and they cut it down all the way to an hour and a half. So part of me is like wonders, is there like a 3 hour cut of this movie that would be like, holy shit? I don't know. My head would be on a
Yeah.
swivel if that happened. But you
There's
do see
not.
that footage in part 4, right?
You do. Yes, you do. You see a lot. You see about 10 minutes of the cut footage in part 4, but yeah, there's a lot of footage that got cut that sort of explained certain characters. Like Jody has a girlfriend at the bank. You never see that. The Sally and Susie characters that pick up Mike. There was some story with them. They just
A
fucking
random
show up
lady
and
in the
they're
house,
yeah,
right?
that was the maid. So yeah, there's the there, they have an aunt too. There was an aunt, the aunt that Mike was supposed to go live with. They filmed some scenes with her, who she actually doubles as the fortune teller. Same lady.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah. So yeah, there was so much that they filmed that they cut because they put it in front of a test audience, and the test audience was like, "What the fuck is this?" Right? So they had to cut it. That's why it
Yeah,
feels so strange and disjointed, but that kind of adds to the character of the film. You know what I mean?
it does. Yeah, and like I know like you love Italian horror movies as much as I do.
Yes.
You're a big Fulci guy, and like I always felt the beautiful thing about this movie is he somehow, Don Coscarelli, he was able to capture a very Italian feel with this movie, and I don't see that happen a lot, especially in the States. It's because it's usually cultural, right? It's usually okay.
Right.
You wanted a movie that feels Italian, you got to shoot it in Italy, right? This is not. This is shot in California. It was funded and produced, of course, by his dad. He helped,
Yep.
pay for this picture, and then of course the mom helped do makeup and casting. And Kate Coscarelli was like a one woman show on the set of this. It's crazy how much
Dude,
she was able to help with.
Kate
It's
Coscarelli was sort of the unsung hero of this film and all the films before that too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. It's blue collar in a way, but at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, it doesn't feel that way at the same time. And the score, I love.
Oh,
How do you feel about that score? Because it's one of my all time favorite scores. Is
my brother,
fantastic. Oh,
my
look at it.
favorite, my favorite non-Romero score of all time, the Fred Myro Phantasm score. This fucking shit right here. So I don't know if you've ever heard me tell the story, but
No, I haven't.
um,
Please do.
my first semester in high school, this would have been late 98. I transferred from one school to another school, and I'm meeting all these friends, and they're trying to show me all these new bands. Hey, check out this new fucking Meshuggah record, or here's Around the Fur by Deftones. Here's the, whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's awesome. Listen to this. This is the Phantasm soundtrack. And they're all like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, what are you? What is this? So that's where my headspace was when I was a kid. Was, dude, that soundtrack means so much to me. I used to just put it on and listen to it, and it's where my love for cemeteries came about. My dad was a beat cop in Atlanta, and one of his beats where he used to go catch dope dealers was in this cemetery. So he would take me by there and show me some of his old spots, and I would just put my headphones on, my Walkman, and just listen to this fucking soundtrack while I'm walking around the cemetery. Such a fucking goth. I was such a little goth.
That's amazing. I had not heard that
Yeah.
story before. That is wow.
Oh
I
yeah.
did not know that. That is incredible. And like, I appreciate you being that guy, man. Like, I was always the guy wearing movie T-shirts, and people would
Yeah.
look at me like I'm crazy. Like, what the hell are you
Yeah.
doing? Like, why are you wearing a Maniac shirt? Why the hell are you not wearing a Maniac shirt? So,
Yeah, right.
you want to be like, have everybody get in on the fun, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, that score though, it's just, oh my, so
Yeah. Well,
epic. I love that stuff, and there's so much to it too. Like the Lady in Lavender,
yes.
I always called them the Jawas. I know that's
Yeah.
obviously not what they are, but that's what they remind me of. It, of course, was just a couple of years preceding Star Wars. Like
Yep.
all of that stuff and their world and their slaves. What are they slaves to? I don't know. Like there are things like that I still to this day couldn't tell you. But what I
Yeah.
do know is the atmosphere and the tension, and I think the creativity and ambition of this movie too. The ideology of the spear that just flies around. I look at them as
Yeah.
like the security system for the tall man and
Yeah.
the people that bleed the yellow Crayola. That's why I did the yellow, by the way. I
Uh-huh.
don't know. There's just
Awesome.
all that stuff. I thought it was so fantastical. For obviously not to be play on words there, but it was fantastic in a way.
It was. And that's sort of the magic of Phantasm is, the first two acts of this film are sort of this weird, like you said, almost like Italian influenced sort of horror film. And then the last act it just goes into this fucking bonkers sci-fi fucking extravaganza. And you're like, what is going on? What's this room with these fucking tuning forks in the middle? And then there's is that another planet? Is that hell? What the fuck am I looking at? What are these Jawas? What the fuck is going on? It's like so much going on all at once. And like I said, man, we could, you could really spend hours and hours and hours deep diving into what all this shit means. And you could attribute it to all the questions that you have, and nothing's truly explained. You could contribute it to lazy filmmaking, or you can look at it from Don Coscarelli's perspective. He was inspired by Dali. Like, this is an abstract painting. You know what I mean?
It
So
is.
it's really whatever you want it to be, and I love the fact that it's left up to you to decide. You know, it makes you think, it makes you feel, it makes you use your imagination. You know what I mean? And that's why this film is so beautiful. Why this whole series is beautiful, except for Ravager. We'll get into Ravager. I'm in a better place with Ravager now. But
Are you
anyway,
really?
I
I'm
am.
glad
Yeah,
one of us is. I don't know. Like this, I'm completely with you. And like to me, it's really I always really respected Don Coscarelli because he's one of those guys that obviously after this movie became a hit, right? Because this was a movie that was made on a budget of $300,000. And
yeah,
it became a really big hit over time. Like this was a movie that it wasn't expected to do much, but continuously got people going to see movies. And horror was in a boom, right? I mean, this is the late 1970s, right? Halloween had come
yeah.
out the year before. Dawn of the Dead had come out the year before. You had Damien the Omen 2 came out the year before.
Mhm.
Alien came out this same year. I mean, 1979 bleeding over to the new decade of the 80s, horror was booming. And this is a movie that was a little movie that could, right? Garnered a big cult following, made a lot of money.
Yeah,
And then, of course, they gave him Beastmaster, which he did not enjoy making. He didn't enjoy the
right.
system. That's why I always respect Don Coscarelli, because even when you get to the sequel, which we'll talk about, you could tell he wasn't a studio guy. He didn't
Never,
like being told these things, right? He was used to working with mom and dad, literally, right? And there's
dude.
nothing wrong with that. That's why I like him.
Right. Well, it's very reminiscent of Romero. I think that's why I think about those two guys together often. They sort of embody the same independent spirit. You know what I mean? It's sort of that guerrilla style filmmaking, you know, using your friends, using your family. I remember hearing stories about Kate Coscarelli making fucking dinner for everybody. That's Tony Bubba's grandmother during Martin. It's the same
Right, right.
thing.
Use
You
my
know,
house.
use my house, use whatever you need. And that is the type of shit that really shines through. You can feel it in the DNA of these films. So
Yes.
yeah, I agree. Don Coscarelli was never a studio guy. Never. He always
Yeah.
stuck to his guns. Same as Romero. He never fucking wavered. He never compromised. And I love that about that man.
Yeah, me too. I'm the same way. It gives these films a really great homemade feel. Even though the sequel, which we'll talk about, like you definitely could see there's more money there. You could definitely see a studio
Oh yeah.
releasing this. But I that's why I always really respected him. Like Survival Quest. If you watch a lot of Don Coscarelli's movies, generally have most of the same actors in there. Like Reggie Bannister
Yeah.
is in a lot of them. Like it's not just
Everything.
Phantasm. And he would use these people over again because you could tell they were tight. And this was the world he came from. And I like that he didn't really forget his roots. I think he's a guy that easily could have sold out and said, "Hey, I'll take my Beastmaster money. I'll
Yeah.
do whatever they tell me to do because it's a job and I'm making good money." He wasn't that type of guy. He, like you said, it was like an abstract painting, like a Dali that just said,
Yeah.
"Fuck you, I'm going to make whatever I want." That's why I always really
Yeah.
liked him too. And you see a lot of that in this first movie for me. I don't know. This is an all-time classic. Like I watch it every October. This is my October
Oh yeah.
movie, like one of my, not a Halloween night movie, but a movie every, like maybe October 1st night movie. Like it's just, I don't know, it's something about Phantasm, man. And I appreciate that you see the deeper theme of the grief. And because like I've said this to people and they look at me like I'm fucking crazy. They're like, "You're thinking too hard." I'm like, I see so
No, no,
much of it.
no.
I'm glad you see it too.
Well, just go back and look at it through through that lens. So, you know, the tall man is death. You know, he's chasing Mike through the whole film. Like that's Mike processing death. He's running from it. You can never escape it. The lady in lavender, that's his, this is my opinion, that's his view as a 13-year-old boy of sex. That's why sex and death. That's why the tall man and the lady in lavender interchange with each other so much.
Oh man, I love
He doesn't
this.
know what it is. So, dude, I'm
Yes,
telling you,
indeed.
if you wanted, we could go on and fucking on about this shit. I know we don't have the time, but I'm telling you, man, Phantasm, we could deep dive and dissect this shit for hours. I
I'm never gonna
promise.
be able to unsee that now. That's why I always. Why do they interchange? Because that's how he sees it. Matt Landrum, man. That
Yeah.
is. I gotta now. Next time I watch Phantasm, that that's gonna be my primary thought going in.
Just
That's
watch it like, yeah, there you go.
yeah. Let's see what people have to say in the chat because we did have a quite lively chat while we were talking. Tom is here, the undead of night. Hi, John, Matt, and chat. I heard the call of "So I married an axe murderer," so I had to answer. Well, I mean, absolutely. The Phantasm theme is a very interesting theme, especially with that electric piano mode. Yeah, it's. I mean, I love that score, man. It's an all timer. As Edgar Allan Poe once said, "Is that we see but a dream within a dream." Yeah,
Yep.
the whole ending of you dreamed all this and I'm going to take care of you. And then the whole boy, one of my
Mhm.
favorite endings ever, just grabbing the
Oh
holy
yeah.
shit. I remember the first time I saw that, I jumped off my couch. Like, just a crazy ending. Watching the original movie, you could see how it feels like a precursor to Nightmare on Elm Street, because there's the scene where Mike gets stuck in the mud. Okay.
Mhm.
And who could forget the scene where Mike has the nightmare where the tall man is looming over him in the graveyard? Oh, dude, one of my favorite visuals this entire movie is, and they grab
Oh
him out of
yeah.
the grave. Just, oh, dude, nightmare fuel, literal nightmare fuel. Mernzies movie mansions in the house. What's up, Graveyard fam? Boy, what's up, Mernsey? Hope all's well with you, buddy. Mateo says, Phantasm is a gem, unique, great atmosphere, dreamlike, and mysterious. The tall man is iconic, definitely underrated. I'm with you, Mateo, for sure. James Abernathy, all the way from the UK, a little late, but hi, everyone. Welcome, James. Hope all is well with you. If you ever listening to the opening theme to House of the Devil, it sounds similar to Phantasm theme. I've seen House of the Devil like twice. Do you see the similarity there?
I
No.
honestly, I don't think I've ever even seen House of the Devil. I'd
Oh,
have to go
okay.
back and think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not missing much. I
Well,
don't really like that movie personally.
yeah. Well, we're talking about, and I know we'll get through you get through the rest of the comments, but like just real quick, the Phantasm soundtrack. You were talking about how Phantasm feels very Italian influenced, while the Fred Myro was influenced by Goblin. That was a huge influence for this soundtrack. So you can kind of see, like, kind of feel that Italian vibe coming through on there.
It shows. Yeah, no, it totally, like, that's the thing with this movie. I always watch it. I'm like, how are you sure this wasn't made somewhere in Italy by some
Right.
Italian?
Yeah.
It's like you wanna just be like asking these questions. Matt can probably appreciate the end of The Left-Hand Path
Oh yeah.
by, okay, there you go.
Yeah, yeah. More was the Mortician album cover that's got Angus Scrimm on the cover of it. Yeah, I mean, the dude, Phantasm, far-reaching. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Can't say I ever cared much for Phantasm, but I gotta say this conversation and Matt's enthusiasm is making me watch it again. Yeah,
dude.
please
Oh,
do. Like, if you're one of those people that was confused by it or just never got anything out of it, I do highly. It's a movie that it's better if you do watch it over again. Like, it's maybe not going to hit you the same way the first time as it will when you watch it more. I don't know. At least that's how I feel. I don't know how Matt feels. Let's see. I blind bought the DVD to Circuit City when I was 11 or 12. Such a good movie. Yeah, it's a Circuit City. Wow, that's a throwback. Those things, oh my gosh, they're gone for a long time. I snuck into the tall man's funeral home one time, and those little hooded Jawa things ate my ass. Phantom
uh oh.
Analog. Jim is here. Great movie, boy. Welcome, Phantom Analog. Stetsio is here. What's up, all? I'm originally from Northern California, and I've been to the Dunsmuir House, used in several movies. Very cool location in Oakland. Oh, very cool.
Awesome.
Very cool story, Stetsio. So I know Matt Landrum's got trivia for you all. I think also I think this is beating a dead horse. I think we both give Phantasm a 10. I don't think
Oh yeah.
there's really much reason to go into the ratings, right?
No, there's no reason to even. Yeah, 10 spheres out of 10, brother.
10 spears out of 10. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go with that. Matt has his trivia for you. So first trivia question, the floor is yours.
All right, so let's start with, so the way that we're going to do this, we're going to do one trivia question after each movie that we talk about, right? So
Right.
whoever answers correctly first, right? Is that what we discussed?
Correct,
We'll
right.
kind of keep track of it. 5
I'll keep track
questions
of it
'cause
in the
it's 5.
private chat.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, cool. So, Phantasm. What was Phantasm originally titled? Was it A, Cemetery Gates, B, Morningside, C, Fear, or D, Nightmare?
You have 30 seconds. Good luck. I was just kidding. Play the Jeopardy music. Put Phantasm Jeopardy music like a mismatch. That would be really funny.
That would be awesome. We could
Yeah.
sing Sitting Here Till Midnight. Well, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not singing.
Not singing, no. We already have a guess. Oh, we have several guesses. Okay, let's see. I'm just gonna we'll get the guesses flood in a little bit.
All right.
CW says LOL the hooded Jawa things. Yeah. Well, the first time I watched it, I was like, what the hell is this? Like they threw me off the most. And then when you find out
Yeah.
that's the people that are dying and they're just dwarfing them down to become
Yeah,
like,
dwarf them
what
down.
the
Well,
fuck?
there's actually a lot of Star Wars influence from that movie, or reference, I should say, because I think they were filming Phantasm, or they had wrapped filming right when Star Wars was coming out. So you can't say Phantasm ripped off Star Wars, but the Jawas, the original idea for the silver spheres was a silver sphere with a needle that would inject you, and that's a complete reference to Darth Vader and Leia from
Princess
the first
Leia,
Star
the
Wars.
probe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
So and then J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams was, he helped redo or he helped do
Yeah,
the
he was
Phantasm
behind
remastered.
the
Yeah,
remaster. I remember that
yeah,
in like 2016, I want to say, right before his
yeah.
Star Wars movie came out, funny enough. Hadfield says, can I phone a friend? Let's see what the answer is.
Sure.
Mr. Dan was first. He said D. Tom said D. Mateo said C.
Is
Mr.
that
Landrum.
it?
So we had two people said D and one person guessed C.
Ah, come on. They're all wrong.
They're
Somebody's got to
all
guess right.
wrong.
They're all wrong.
That's your 50-50, Haddonfield.
Oh,
Still phone a
man.
friend. There's your 50-50.
All right, come on. Somebody get it.
Oh my God, it's amazing. You want to read it one more time for them?
Yeah. So what was Phantasm originally titled? Was it A, Cemetery Gates, B, Morningside, C, Fear, or D, Nightmare?
Well, it's safe to say that Tom got it.
Hey, great
One
job,
for
Tom.
Tom. Tom's on the board. I'm going to put it in the chat here. Undead of Night 1. Okay, so you've got one, good brother Tom. And I don't know if you were here when Matt said what he was giving away. He is giving away a steelbook of the Phantasm Remastered Blu-ray, so you can win that.
Nice.
And there's a bonus question, which if you get that right and win all these, you can get the VHS of Phantasm. So that's pretty cool. We did have somebody guess A, so all the choices got a guess. Robert Night is in the house. Hello,
Hey.
Grande and all. Welcome,
up,
Robert. B, but yes, you were second. Tom got you by a few seconds there. But let's get into the sequel, man, because this is, of course, a movie that I don't know. Like, I guess before we get into the movie and the plot synopsis and all that, do you ever feel that Phantasm needed a sequel? I know we love the series, but in a parallel world where they never made a sequel to Phantasm, would you have been okay with that, or are you happy that we get the series that we do?
Well, 50-50. So yes, Phantasm was never meant to have a sequel.
Right.
It was meant to be a standalone story. Don actually didn't even want to make a sequel. His mother, Kate, which we talked about her earlier, she actually penned a sequel back in 1980, which I've never read. It's never seen the light of day. But apparently
She
it
did
was
the
like
novelization of the first film, right? Too.
That's right. Yep.
Right.
She also did the novelization, but his dad, Don Coscarelli, who was actually, he produced a lot of the films like you talked about. He actually took an ad out in Variety, a trade ad advertising Phantasm 2, and it never was. I've actually got that trade ad over here. But yeah, so the original concept of Phantasm 2 was that it was going to be like said right after the first one. It was going to be released pretty close to the first one. Mike's cousin comes to town, and she's like trying to investigate and figure out what's going on. Never got any traction, never took off. But yeah, I would have been okay without a sequel, but I'm so glad that they made the sequels now. You know what I mean? Like I can't go back in time and know that. So
Sure.
but yeah, I would have been okay without a sequel, but I'm glad that we have them now.
Yeah, okay. I'm in that same ballpark too. Like to me, like the first one's always been my favorite by a mile of these movies. But that's not to say that I don't like the series that follows it, if it makes any sense. Like the first movie is like my opus 10 out of 10 of the series. But that's not to say that the sequels don't kick ass, because most of them do. And of course, when I'm talking about some kick ass sequels, one of the ones that comes to mind is our movie that we're discussing here next. I'm talking about it from 1988. This is Phantasm 2. All right, brief plot synopsis. Mike, now released from a psychiatric hospital, meets with Reggie and discovers his dreams, the events of the original film, are real, and they both journey to find and stop the evil tall man from his grim work. Yes, Phantasm 2, another really fucking good movie in my opinion. Do you remember your first viewing of this movie?
No, I don't remember my specific first viewing, but I've always liked Phantasm 2. I know it's not the same. It's almost like to me it almost feels like a distant relative to the original. It to me, in my opinion, it lacks the atmosphere from the original. It's a linear storyline. It's not as disjointed, not as discombobulating as the first, and that's intentional. That's because of the studio's involvement in the film.
Right.
But no, I don't remember when I first saw it. Do you?
I can't either. I couldn't tell you either. I mean, what's funny is I guess we can get into the whole studio thing. The first time I ever remember seeing the movie, like a DVD for the movie, was an infamous 4-pack. I don't know if you remember this 4-pack, but because this was a Universal Studios picture, they own the rights to Phantasm 2. So if you ever get
Right.
like a box set, you'll see different artwork because it's owned by a different company. There was an infamous 4-pack. It was the Fun House. It was this movie. It was a movie called. It was a fucking like giant snake movie called. And I forget the other movie. Maybe somebody could tell us what the other movie was. But that's where. And I remember being like, "Why would you have the second one in the 4-pack, not the first one?" I was always like, kind of, I didn't know anything about anything at that time. But this is a crazy situation where they wanted to make a sequel. They wanted franchises, right? Because this was around the time where the Jason movies, the Freddy movies, all these Halloween, all of it, 1988, all those movies had entries that made a lot of money. And they were like, hey, what can we do? Let's bring back Phantasm. So they brought Don Coscarelli in. They times the budget by 10. This was a $3 million movie as opposed to the original had a $300,000 budget. We'll give you 10 times the money. We'll give you our Universal Studios, platform set, whatever you want to do. But obviously there were changes that came with that. First thing, that the most blatant thing is they changed the lead actor. A. Michael Baldwin is changed out with James LeGros, who plays the lead in this. Thoughts on him? Do you like him? What do you think?
I do. I actually liked his portrayal of Mike. So yeah, the original situation was they wanted to recast both Reggie and Mike because neither Michael Baldwin or Reggie had acted. They weren't working actors, and the studio wanted working actors.
Yes.
But luckily, Don kind of finagled it to where they settled on at least letting him keep Reggie, but he had to replace Michael Baldwin. And I know that's been sort of a point of contention, even up till today. Which I'm sure if you talk to Michael Baldwin, he'd probably tell you, it's not a big deal anymore. But I think it really upset him. It was really difficult for him, and difficult for a lot of the cast and crew too, because a lot of people returned from part one. And but I think James LeGros, I think he did a great job. I really do. It's so easy to replace a child actor because you could say that it's age progression. You don't really know. It's harder to replace an adult, and I think that's one of the reasons too why they kept Reggie. But yeah, Mike, James LeGros kind of brought like sort of this macho element to the film, which that's really kind of what I think of when I think of Phantasm 2. And one of the reasons why I like the series so much is it blends sort of these like gothic themes of death and cemeteries, but it's like perfectly married with this sort of macho bravado, right? And that's what James LeGros brought to the film. He's kind of this fucking really good looking buff dude, and with flamethrowers and shotguns and fucking chainsaws and kind of upped everything. I think his chemistry with Reggie Bannister was fantastic too. I think he did a great job.
I'd agree. Yeah, they clicked so good considering that this was a recasting. Like when you watch it, they flow together so well. It's kind of like jaw dropping. And I agree with everything you're saying about them upping it. It was like, okay, yeah, we got money now. Let's get Greg Nicotero, who of course was hot off of movies like Day of the Dead. And this is actually fun fact. This was right after they did Intruder. Even though Intruder comes out after this, they had shot Intruder. Of course, Kurtzman was there, and the effects work in this movie is the best of the series. It is, some of the stuff in this is wild, and they really knew they had this, right? I mean, you get house explosions, you get the 4-barrel shotguns, you get spears, but they do even more in this movie. I mean, it's incredible from an effects standpoint, and I like that Coscarelli did that with this movie. It's like, okay, hey, I have to make some sacrifices, right? They're going to move out this lead actor. I know they wanted the female actress in the film, which I know Don Coscarelli, at least from my understanding, was never really happy with that character. I don't know if you know more about that than me, but I know that Paula Irvin's character is Liz. He was not the most, because they have this like telepathy thing, right? They're talking.
Yeah, there's a weird telepathy thing that kind of fizzles out at the end of this movie, and you never really see it again after that. But no, I don't remember hearing anything about him not really liking the character of Liz. I just always thought it was odd that it kind of she just kind of fucking died at the end of it, and that was it. They didn't go into it anymore.
The opening of three, she's getting her face eaten. So it's like I always figured that was him being like, all right, bye. Like now I get to
I
do what
think
I want.
yeah,
That's how
I
I
think
always saw it. And I feel like I had heard him talk about it, but I don't know. Maybe I'm completely. I
yeah,
did like that element though. I thought it added a nice heart to this movie, right? Where it was like I've got to get to her, and we've got to get
yeah,
together. We got to go on the road. We got to beat the tall man. It's a very
yeah.
exciting film. It's
It
in a
is.
way what Aliens is to Alien, or what Terminator 2 is to Terminator. It's like it
Right.
takes the basics, right? It's got more money. It's got the studio backing now. Let's up the fucking ante. And that's why I
Amp
like
it up.
Phantasm 2. And I think it's actually a damn good sequel. It's one of the more entertaining ones for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Reggie's
I love
back.
that it's
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. Reggie's back, and this is really where Reggie Bannister kind of shines. And this is where you start seeing him step into that sort of lead protagonist character, right? And I love the road film
Right.
aspect of this too, and again talking about, themes of goth, these gothic themes and like this really cool macho type shit. Like I fucking love the 71 Hemikuta. Like that is like my favorite car ever because of and there are these awesome shots where when they hit the road, you hear that beautiful score in the background, that beautiful gothic score, and then there's like these really tight close-up shots on the fucking wheels of the car, and then there's a close-up shot of the CUDA logo, and there's something about that, man. It speaks to, I don't know, it just speaks to my inner dude. I don't know. I don't know how else to articulate it, but and that's God, that's what's so great about these films, man. And you got just got the full picture, man, the full everything. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think there's a great emotional aspect to this movie too that thankfully was not lost. And it's funny, while on paper you hear, okay, this they had 10 times the money. How great is Universal? This actually was the smallest budget Universal film of that entire decade of the 1980s. This was the movie that they gave the least money to, even though it was
Yeah.
this, holy shit, we got 10 times the money. It wasn't something that they necessarily, okay, we'll give you 3 million. Like it was kind of like a backhand, in my opinion, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
movie
it
unfortunately didn't do too well, but I know I want to talk about this scene where Reggie and Mike, they're driving back to Reggie's house, and it blows up with Reggie's family inside. That is a heartbreaking scene. And he just gets out and he gets on his knees, just like I love that scene, man. I don't know about you,
oh
but that's
yeah.
one of my
Oh
faves from that
yeah.
movie.
I love it. That's where you see Reggie kind of hook a right, man, and that's when he becomes this warrior, right? When his family dies, and I love hearing the stories too about how they shot that shit. That was so cool. So the scene at the very beginning where the house blows up, and then the scene where you see the tall man looking at it, and then the scene where you see them in the future pulling up to the house where his family blows up. Those are all is all the same house. That was 3 different shots of the
Yeah.
same shit blowing up. And they had like 30 minutes to blow it up or something like that. The fucking fire marshal was there telling them, giving him all kinds of shit. And as soon as he found out it was a Phantasm film, he said, blow the fuck out of it, and turned his back and walked away. Like he was a fan. So yeah, I love hearing that shit. But yeah, that's where, but here's the weird thing about that scene is 15-20 minutes after Reggie's family dies, he's trying to fucking bang a hitchhiker. Like, I mean, what is going on? you know? So yeah,
I love that becomes a running theme in the series too, of like every movie Reggie's just trying to get laid. Like this
yeah.
is the one where he becomes the action hero and the fun loving. Like he's not in the first one that much. He's more predominantly in the sequels. In this movie, of course, he's
Yes.
trying to get laid, and that's something that goes on and on and on throughout all these movies, which is I always thought was really funny. Reggie. There's something about him. Like he's got a great charm to him, a great likability, and he doesn't look like the predominant action hero,
Right.
right? Like the ones that were coming around this time. This was the time of Van Damme. This was the time of Seagal and Stallone and Schwarzenegger. And we got Reggie Bannister.
Yeah,
What a
man.
poster child for action star. But he brought some sort of vulnerability to it, right? This is a guy that's
He
not
did.
macho. He had the ponytail. He's the ice cream man. There's something so likable about him, man. I adore Reggie Bannister in these movies. He's so fun.
Absolutely. And he's so, and that's, you really see that sort of bond develop. And that's what I love the most about Reggie is that you can feel it through the entire series that he is willing to go to hell and back for his friends. And there's
Right.
something so endearing about that. And that's what I look for in relationships with other people. That's what I look for in my friendships, people that'll do that for me. And yeah, I love it. And he's, Reggie, the character of Reggie is the complete antithesis of the tall man. The tall man is death. He's destruction. He's the end. Reggie is life and love, and he's trying
Yeah.
to get fucking laid all the time. He's trying to reproduce, man. He's trying to, he's trying to carry on the legacy and carry on his life, And such a contrast there of good and evil, man. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's so funny that he's trying to bang these chicks, and it never works out. And I have a theory about that. We can get into it
Oh, do you?
towards the end. We can get into it towards the end, or we can get into it now. It's
I
up to
want to.
you.
Yeah, no, please tell me. I got to hear this
All right.
theory.
So this is just my theory. Everybody has their own Phantasm theories. Phantasm 1 was all Mike's dream. That was his dream, his nightmare. The end of the film where they're talking on the fireplace and they're discussing everything, Mike's telling Reggie about the tall man. He's telling Reggie about all this shit that he saw. I feel like maybe that sort of imprinted on Reggie's mind, and the rest of the sequels were all Reggie's dream. You know how in your dreams you can never get what you want? You know how in your dreams you can never grasp the thing that you're trying to get? He's always trying to get laid, and he can never fucking get laid. It never happens for him, right?
Wow. I've never thought of it that way. That's incredible. That's why he can't.
And think about this too. In Oblivion, which we can discuss it when we get to it, there's that line by the tall man, and I never understood what this meant, but he says, "Ice cream man, it's all in his head." And Reggie looks at the tall man like, what the fuck? That's because this is all his dream, dude. This is all just a fucking dream in Reggie's head. And then Ravager really kind of proves that.
Wow. Okay. This is,
Yeah.
I like that.
Dude, I told
too.
you. We could go on and on and on about this shit. I'm telling you. I've had years, 30 years to think about this shit.
Since 1995, these things have been working. No, you gotta release like a Phantasm like theories book. That would be amazing. It would be
yeah. Maybe I'll look into it.
Yeah, and like getting into also, like, I know I mentioned the effects, but like just in detail, the stuff with the spears in this, right? Where the spear goes into the guy's hand, he has to cut his hand off, he's one of the goons, and then it goes into his back and up through his like jaw. Like, oh my god, dude. When I first saw, I'm like, Greg Nicotero has arrived. Like, he, it's crazy. Like, I look at Day of the Dead as Savini's opus. I look at, that's the last great Savini movie in a lot of ways, right? I don't think he ever topped it. And then Greg, it seemed like he moved on and just kept, it was like he took the torch, I always look like, from Savini and moved on to all these friends. Like, he did the Creepshow 2, he did The Intruder, he did this movie, and then just on and on and on and on. It's like he never stopped.
Right.
And you look, even to this day, Greg Nicotero is just still, he's everywhere. It's incredible. And I look at a movie like this, I know it wasn't KNB yet, right? You still didn't have Berger there, but you were getting to that point of KNB. And this is a movie that's a total, like, you want to see the precursor to what that becomes, watch Phantasm 2 for that, because it's just amazing. And now I know you mentioned that everything is linear, right? Everything, it's not as confusing with this particular movie. And that was at the command of Universal Studios. They felt it was too ambiguous, the first movie, and they wanted everything linear. Does that hurt this film for you in any way, shape, or form? Or do you think Coscarelli was able to sweep that enough under the rug for this movie to work as a whole?
Yeah, they get fucking weird again after this one, but
they really do.
It's not, to me, where some might think it suffers because of that. I fucking, this is a slick action film, dude, and I have no problems with it. I really don't. I think it worked in its favor. It didn't necessarily flop. It was a $3 million budget, but it actually made about $7 million. It made them a little bit of money. It just wasn't as much as Universal was expecting.
Right.
So no, I don't think it hurt it, man. I fucking love that shit. That's so one of the things I love the most about this film. It's not the same as the first. Nothing will ever be like the original Phantasm, but I love the elements in this film. There's even a couple of comedic elements. The shit with the chainsaw where the dude almost cuts Reggie's dick off, and he's like, he cuts off the bandolier with the shit. I mean, that's funny, but it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no. And then two, we keep talking about Nicotero. Yeah, man, the K and the N were there, not the B, but Mark Shostrom. Dude, he came off of Evil Dead too. Like he was sort of the driving effects force behind this film. I think he kind of took Nicotero under his wing during this film. I think he's kind of the unsung hero as far as the effects go for this. But yeah, that scene where the sphere goes through the dude's back and it gets fucking lodged in his throat, and you can hear it going through his throat, and it's like, that's fucking awesome, dude. That was originally supposed to come out of his head. But the MPAA fucking devoured this film, dude. They chopped it up so much.
Right.
I know that was a point of contention with Coscarelli too. He had to go back and cut a bunch of shit, and this is right at the height of that garbage in the 80s. You know, the MPA was just running rampant. So, but yeah.
It's a shame. It's a shame. A lot of movies suffered that fate. And like, let me ask you this before we get to the comments.
Sure.
Is this your favorite of the sequels? If not, it's okay, but I'm curious.
No, it's my second. It's my
Okay,
second
it's my
favorite.
second favorite as well. So we're in the same ballpark there. I still love this movie. I think it's a really good time. I would say like 7.5 to an 8 for me for Phantasm 2. I love this movie. I think this is a good
Out of 10, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Okay, so yeah, we're
I
right
do
on
love
the
it.
same margin there.
Yeah.
It still works overall. It's still really good. It's still well directed. It's nice to see some money added, honestly. And I think
Yes.
I think Don's smartest decision was to not make the same movie over again. I think if you kept it in the cemetery, if you not went on the road with it, the action, like if you hadn't toned it up, I don't think this ever would have worked under a studio umbrella, because the first Phantasm, it would never work in that setting. I don't think it would work the same personally.
Right.
Let's see what the comments say. I think we were here. Universal did a test screening of 2 at my theater. They had to rig up a special machine because the sound wasn't on the actual celluloid, and I got to watch it with them to sync up the sound. Wow, that is a really cool story.
That's rad, Stezio. Fuck yeah.
There you go. LOL, I still have that DVD. The 4-pack, The Serpent and the Rainbow, was the 4th movie on there. So it's Phantasm 2, The Serpent, weird 4-pack. But yeah, that's the first memory I have of this movie. It's only a dream. Only a dream. No, it's not. I love the comment. No, it's not. It just breaks through the fucking thing. Hey, Matt, is that a Technics turntable on your right?
Yeah. No, it's an Audio Technica.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Reggie is sort of the father figure to Mike. Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
That's the bond they have, or the wacky uncle, I guess. 9 years after the first, it's a long time. You could definitely see a higher budget tall man even scarier in this one. Yeah, man. Angus is just as good, if not better here. Like, I love that poster. The picture I posted earlier in the week of him outside with the billboard. That's like one of my favorite pictures of anything for Phantasm. Like, it just makes me so happy. Like, how cool is that?
Kristen Deem. Yeah, Kristen Deem took that photo. Yeah, she was sort of like Angus's assistant. And she, again, talking about my old website, she sent me a couple of unreleased photos back in the day. Really cool contact and really cool Phantasm fans, sort of like the unspoken Phantasm ambassador to the fandom. Just a really cool chick.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, I love that you have that insight. Like, I didn't know who that was before we had spoken early in the week, and you were posting some pictures. I don't know if these were the ones that had never been seen before, but like of Kevin Connors and Rocky and Reggie Bannister. I never saw that picture before. I don't know if that was one of the ones, but I was like, I've never seen this. I just lit up. I was like, this is the greatest thing, man.
Yeah, she took those. Yeah, it's in that Phantasm Exhumed book that I was telling you about.
Okay, yeah, so we're gonna have to get on that, because I love that picture. Jeff Down is Up is in the chat. I love the original Phantasm. It came out the same summer as Dawn of the Dead did in 1979. Love your show. Thank you guys. Have a great weekend at Living Dead Weekend. Thank you so much, Jeff. I appreciate the kind words.
It's another Alpha Romero transplant there.
Yeah, we certainly seem to bleed over into each other's channels a little bit. Stetio still's got to forgive me for the Martin thing. I don't know if you were there for that, but Stetio, we got him going. Reggie was a great character. Reggie, like, and it's funny. I feel like he wasn't used enough in other things. Like, he randomly shows up in movies like Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, but he's barely in it. And I remember he's just a misogynistic asshole in The Office. I was like, that's how you use Reggie Bannister? I got so mad when I first saw it. I was like, motherfucker, like, that's Reggie. But I guess, you don't want to play type or the same character over and over.
Well, I think he bites it in the Wishmaster too, doesn't he?
That's right. Yes, that is absolutely right.
Yeah, I was like, what, man? You can't do that to the Reg man. Come on.
I don't know. I guess, yeah, you got to stay under the Coscarelli umbrella. Teal Kid, that's a first time name. Tall Man is a living Phantasm and a Grim Reaper. Okay. They say a sequel is never equal, but I think Phantasm 2 just disproves that. Wild One, Yellow Blood for the win. Merns is on the Phantasm 2. I love this sequel too. I'm totally with it being a damn good sequel. I still go with the OG as my fave, but I think it's a really good one. They need to remake Phantasm. I don't know. Get Pedro Pascal. Oh no.
What?
Who the hell would it even be? Would you have him be Reggie? Like, who the hell?
No, he's already playing that character in The Mandalorian, right? That's pretty much who he is.
That's amazing. Yeah, Reggie we need a movie where it's Reggie versus the Mandalorian.
Oh yeah.
That would be a ticket seller. Great story, great actors, great musical score, sets an incredible atmospheric film, top notch. Totally agree. This franchise has one of the best characters in horror. Come to think about it, yeah, the tall man is. That effect was amazing through the back, right? The spear through
Oh
the
yeah.
back. I
Yeah.
thought that was like the
That's one
first
of
time
my
I saw it.
favorites, dude. Yeah.
Oh, dude, gross as hell. The spears are so vicious in part two, and that's one of the main reasons why I enjoy it. Yeah, I like, and we'll get into part three coming up, but I like the spears the best in the first two movies. The third movie, there's something with the spears I don't like, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Angus and Don have both said the tall man is a Grim Reaper figure, so it's definitely not a dream. More so of Morningside being able to manipulate reality at will to the point he's trying with you. Okay. This seems certainly have gotten some theories here.
Oh
It's
sure.
even revealed in Ravager the tall man lives in every reality. Okay.
Sure. And that's another thing too. Is it multidimensional? It's whatever you want it to be. That's kind of what we were
Exactly.
talking about. Yeah.
I don't look
However you
too
want to interpret it.
right. I don't think too far because then you just, I don't know. I like how they resurrected this film series and made a stellar sequel like they did with Evil Dead. That's a good point. Yeah, Evil Dead 2 would have been the year before this, and I look at this movie a lot like that. Like the effects work is great. It's got a
Oh
little
yeah.
more energy. It's a really good movie. Going to check out Matt's drone footage after the stream. Pet Cemetery 2 locations made me subscribe. Well, there you go.
Oh yeah.
Drone of the Dead,
There
new
you go.
subscriber. OG Phantasm is the top 10 all-time horror. Yeah, hard to argue with that. I love that movie.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mr. Landrum, my friend, trivia question number 2. Hit him with it.
All right, let's do it. All right. Phantasm 2. What film director's name is listed on a bag of cremated remains in Phantasm 2? You know the scene where the one of the henchmen is crushing up the cremated remains, put them in a bag. Was it A, Wes Craven, B, George Romero, C, Sam Raimi, or D, John Landis?
All right, guys. It's fucking okay, we got a couple
So
guesses so far.
I'll read it one more time. So, what
Sure.
film director's name is listed on a bag of cremated remains in Phantasm 2? A, Wes Craven, B, George Romero, C, Sam Raimi, or D, John Landis?
Okay, we got guesses here. Dan said Romero, so that's B. We got Tom said B. Stetio says Raimi. AJ says Raimi. So we got two B's and a C. Two B's and a C's. Jonathan guessed John Landis. Welcome, Jonathan. And nobody has guessed for Wes Craven. Do we have one more B, George Romero? Christopher, what's up, buddy?
All right. So the answer was C, Sam Raimi.
Which is Stetio. Stetio got it first.
Stetio
Sam
got
Raimi. Okay, so
the,
Stetio, you're on the board, my friend. So I'm going to write Stetio 1.
The whole story behind that was Raimi was a huge fan of the Phantasm film, the first one, and begged Coscarelli to put him somewhere in the film. Like he wanted to act in it, he wanted to be whatever he could be, and the only thing that that Coscarelli could fit him in as was his name on a bag of cremated remains. So that's how he got in the film.
Well, I mean, what bigger honor, right? That's pretty cool. I did not know that story either, actually. I actually didn't know the answer to that question. I knew the first one I knew. The second one, you stumped even me. So I like this. I like where this is going. I hope the questions get even harder as we go on. But of course, after this movie, it didn't make the profit they were wanting, right? They were wanting Freddy money, and that was just not going to happen. Even though there's a cool Freddy effect in it, right? Where that thing comes, the tall man, like I thought it was like a Freddy looking thing that comes out of the girl's back. I was always like,
oh yeah, that gets confused as the what movie was it where there was like a Freddy snake? What movie was that?
Dream Warriors. That's part
Dream Warriors. Yeah, I think it gets confused. I think that I don't think they use the same mold from that or something, or I don't remember the whole story behind that, but it gets confused with that a lot. So
it looks so similar. It's
yeah.
Understand how they can get confused. But of course, Coscarelli the same year would make a movie called Survival Quest, which I also really like. But he didn't like working with the studio. Universal said, hey, we'll maybe distribute if you do a part 3, but we're not going to be the studio to back it. Which leads us to 1994, which leads us to Phantasm 3. Lord of the Dead. And we have a brief plot synopsis for this one as well. Mike and Reggie continued to hunt the mysterious tall man, discovering along the way that the invasion has already begun. Yes, Phantasm 3. Now, this I think played limitedly theatrically, if I'm not mistaken, but this was basically a direct-to-video movie. If it played theatrically, it didn't play wide. It's at least to my knowledge, unless do you have any knowledge of this one playing wider than?
No, yeah. So basically, throughout filming, I think they were under the impression that it was going to be a theatrical release, and they didn't find out until I want to say it was either at the very end of production or right after production ended.
Right.
They all found out that it was actually going to be a direct-to-video release, and there was sort of this collective groan with the cast and crew about that. They're all kind of fucking bummed that it went to video. So, but I think it had I can't remember what the budget was. I know it was pretty low too.
It was 2.5 million. I actually remember just my
Okay.
shelf. Yeah, they only had $500,000 less than the previous movie, but they just didn't. It didn't seem like there was as much faith. But I think what you have here is very much more Coscarelli going back to the roots of his independence, right? Of course, that you do clearly tell this is not a studio movie any longer, just from the
Right.
opening. Initial thoughts on this one, because I would say of the first four, this is the weak point for me. Even though I still really like the movie, I would say this is the weakest sequel of the Coscarelli ones, at least.
Yes, I'll agree with you. There's definitely a tonal shift. You can see it kind of going more, in my opinion, more of a sci-fi route.
Right.
You start seeing the anatomy of the spheres. They put the dwarf brains inside the spheres, so you start seeing a bunch of weird kind of science fiction shit. There's a lot more space gate usage, where now instead of using the space gates just to go to the red planet, now you can go wherever you want with the space gates.
Mm-hmm.
So it just felt more science fiction to me than horror at this point, and to some extent. My biggest complaint with part 3 is, and I love Michael Baldwin, but the character was written to be a victim, and it's really kind of, I get a lot of whiplash with this one, because in the second one, James LeGros' portrayal of Mike, he's this fucking buff, hard ass dude with a flamethrower, like I told you, and he's just kicking ass. And then in this one, he feels just so emo and fucking goth, like this little goth emo dude. And not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying, like, it just feels different. Like, you can feel the shift. And I'm so glad they brought Michael Baldwin back. And I think he's even said that he didn't really like the fact that he had to sort of play a victim in this. So that's really my only sort of problem with part 3. There's some comedic elements too, like the looter trio.
The Home Alone.
Yeah, right. The Home Alone shit. That was, well, you got to admit too, being a kid and seeing that was fucking rad. But
sure.
It's just kind of wonky. Like, it just felt kind of like out of place for Phantasm. But I guess at this point, you got to kind of progress and move in different directions. And I understand, but I know that eventually Coscarelli would take a lot of that criticism to heart when he would make Oblivion. I know he kind of shifted back to a different vibe, but yeah, it's just a weird fucking movie, dude. Like, it's all over the place. You got your horror and your sci-fi elements, but there's also these weird comedic elements. My favorite part of this film, though, is the relationship and between Rocky, Tim, and Reggie. There's something about the three of them together. It's like just this unlikely trio, and I think Rocky even mentions that in the film. She's like, "Oh, imagine that, the three of us fighting the forces of evil," or something like that. And it's just, I don't know, it's just weird, sort of, these weird individual people that kind of come together for this common thing. And I don't know, it fucking works, man. I love Gloria. Is it Gloria Lynn Henry that plays Rocky?
Gloria Lynn Henry,
her as Rocky, dude. And
Kevin Connors is Tim. And
Kevin Connors, yeah.
I'm with you. I think this trio, they did such a great job together, and that they are the highlight of the movie for me, for sure. It's like, I look at this movie as like two parts. There's the part with Michael Baldwin, and of course they bring back Bill Thornberry as Jody, who is now obviously deceased, and he like bobs and weaves through being a sphere that is good, and then like the Obi-Wan Kenobi ghost of, okay, I'm going to tell you that, and then the tall man, and that's one angle. And then of course on the other side of the coin we get Reggie, and I like that Coscarelli made it a point to get a kid character back in this movie because he
Yes.
always wanted this story to be told from the perspective of a child, right? That's why the
Yes.
first movie, and then of course maybe an issue you had with the second movie was like, okay, I don't have that vulnerable kid character in it. So you bring in Kevin Connors as Tim, who is anything but vulnerable. He's this kick-ass kid who sets up these booby traps in the house as an homage to,
Right.
Home Alone, which had come out just a few years before this. And he kills all these intruders with the frisbee with the razor blades, and throws the tomahawk at the lady.
Mm-hmm.
Funny, and I liked they gave the kid so much of a backstory. You get this whole flashback of how his father had passed away and they were burying him in Morningside Cemetery, and the mom was like, oh, don't worry about it, they'll eventually bury him. And they see the tall man one night and he gets the mom, and like it makes you immediately just go like, oh my God, I feel for this kid. And he's so badass. Like he can handle himself. And Reggie has this really conflicting feeling because he's like, all right, I don't want to put these kids in this horrible situation. I'm going to drop them off. And there's the scene where he tries to drop them off in the, I guess, kind of like a foster home. I don't know what you'd call it.
Right.
But he gives the lady the money, and I always liked how Tim like watches that go down, and he's like, oh man, this guy doesn't think I can fucking handle myself, even though I proved it. But that's a testament to Reggie. Reggie is, I don't want to put you in harm's way, kid. Like you don't belong in all this, and that's Tim. Like Tim wants to be a part of it. And then of course Rocky's character, she's like the best female protagonist of the series. She kicks ass.
Fucking kicks so much ass.
Her poor friend, my God, her friend gets literally obliterated by the fucking.
Oh yeah.
I loved her, and again, I love the whole thing with Reggie trying to get laid, right? Where the whole like, Tim, can you?
Oh man. yeah. He's like, no, because Tim, what is she asking him? Like, hey, you can come stay in the room with us or whatever. And Reggie's behind her, like, no. And then Tim's watching, and he's like, no, I'm gonna stay in the car. And she's like, you sure? And Reggie's going, like. Behind her back, that was fucking rad. But so I haven't. Go ahead. Sorry,
I'm sorry. There's the scene where they're all laying down too by the sleeping bags, and something or another. He's like, "Oh my God, I almost got my dick," and she's like, "How's that possible? What's down there?" And then he looks at Tim, and Tim's just cracking up. Every time that never fails to make me laugh. Like every time, it's like Kim. Like, he's the audience in that moment. What were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
She stabs that bug that was in his pants or whatever it was, and he goes, oh, that was close. And she goes, close to what? Like, you ain't got no dick, motherfucker. Oh man. No, but I have a theory about this, and this sort of runs parallel with this thing that this is all a dream for Reggie. I feel like Tim is a manifestation of his guilt about Mike. So Tim is a representation of Mike's childhood and his lost innocence, and he's trying to dump him off. He's trying to get rid of him. He's like, man, I don't want to put him through this anymore. You know what I mean? And this kid just keeps coming back. He winds up in the trunk. Tim's wearing the same fucking clothes that Mike did in the first Phantasm. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm telling you, dude, like you start thinking about this shit. It's like, wait a minute, hold on.
I think you missed your calling, Matt Landrum. I think you should have been a psychiatrist or so. I need to, instead of Grande's Graveyard, we just turn this into a depression session where we just discuss my life and I tell you my problems. It's no, John, you're harvesting. That would be amazing.
And then Jody shows back up, but Jody's a ball, and it's all very surreal and very dreamlike, and that's intentional. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Did you like that aspect of the film? Like, because like the part with Rocky, Reggie, and the kid, I'm all for it. I love it every time I watch it. The other part, it is a little monotonous to me. I'm kind of like, I maybe it's me. I don't know. But how do you feel about that part?
Yeah, what are you talking about, Jody?
Yeah, but the stuff with the Jody, and I always say it's the Force Ghost, and even though it's not, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. That's been one of my least favorite things about that, and even in Oblivion, never really understood why. Like, why are we bringing this back? But again, when you look at it through the lens that this is all a dream, it kind of makes sense. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Things manifest strangely in dreams. People change in dreams. People are one person and then there's somebody else the next. So that's the way that I choose to look at it. I kind of glaze over it. It's whatever. I'm not a huge fan of Bill Thornberry's performance in this or Oblivion.
Me neither. Do you think do you know if there was ever a plan to bring him back in the second film? Because I don't know the answer to that question, to be honest with you.
No, there was never. I don't think that was ever an option. That was never
Okay.
something they were thinking about. So, yeah, but it's funny too with Mike. It's like we brought back this legacy character, and I remember everybody, was hearing that everybody was so fucking stoked about the fact they were bringing Michael Baldwin back, and then they fucking yeet him out of the film for like 45 minutes to an hour. I mean, he's barely in it until the end,
Yeah.
and then when he does show up, he's just like, just kind of floating through like Lost. And the telepathy thing from part 2 is gone. Like we don't talk about that shit anymore.
Yeah.
So
it was like that whole character, that whole angle was like, drop it right now. Like she's getting her face eaten in the beginning. Like, let's move on. I always felt like that was Don being like, fuck this, let's move on. Like new story. And I don't know. I definitely, I appreciate the indie return. I still think the effects are pretty good here for the most part.
Oh
You
yeah.
do see,
Yeah.
I didn't notice much CG, if any, to be honest with you. But of course, it's not as good as the previous film from an effect standpoint. But it's not a big step down either. It's actually still quite good. And I do think you get the best overall image of this whole series in this movie, where the tall man is sitting in the chair and the spheres are around him. That's like, to me, if there's one image I take from the whole series, that's the image. And I think one of the box sets had that as the cover, if I'm not mistaken.
It did. Yeah, you're right. And that sort of added to whenever I think of Phantasm 3 and I think of science fiction, that's the image that pops into my head. That sort of, to me, added to that element of science fiction in this film.
Right.
There's like that sort of weird purple glow behind him, and there's that weird blue pulsing light inside of the sphere. Just felt more science fiction to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Totally agree with that. We didn't have too many comments on this particular one. Somebody said, toying with you is what he meant. Yeah, no worries, man. How would you feel on a rating of this one? Because I'm in like the 6.5 ballpark. It's still a good movie. I still like the movie. It's just, of the Coscarelli 4, I go this one for sure as being the least.
Not my go-to. Definitely not my go-to for Phantasm. I'm probably going to put it. Yeah, I'll agree. I'll go somewhere between 6 and 6.5 out of 10. Maybe even pushing 7, just because there are some cool elements in that film that I love. We talking about Tim and that whole relationship between he and Reggie. That really touched a nerve with me as a kid, seeing that. Talking about themes of abandonment and shit like that, and I kind of vibed with that a lot, and sort of related to that as a kid. So and this was the first one I saw, so due to that, like, nostalgia, I'm gonna probably give it a 7. I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
I think that's totally a fair rating. Yeah, Kevin. I always wish Kevin Connors had done more. I thought he did such a good job in this movie.
Yeah.
For a kid actor, it's like, something, being a kid actor can be really tough. It's just not an easy job. But I thought he pulled it off great. He had charm. He was likable. Went through some crazy stuff. The good backstory. I don't know. It's a fun movie, but yeah, I don't know. I would definitely say, of the first 4, the one I go back to the least, probably.
Yeah.
My faves are the OG Oblivion and then the sequel. Okay. So Mr. Matt Landrum, you got our third trivia question for us here. What do you got for us, buddy?
All right. We'll get into it. I don't know if anybody's going to know this, but we'll try. I was trying to keep them. I was trying to keep them really easy. But if you're not super familiar with the film, you may not know it. But all right. So what was the name of the city where Reggie finds Tim in Phantasm 3? Was it A, Holtzville, B, Somerville, C, Lansing, or D, New Ridge? What was the name of the city where Reggie finds Tim in Phantasm 3? Was it A, Holtzville, B, Somerville, C, Lansing, or D, New Ridge?
What do we got, Graveyard Chat? What do we got, my friends? We have one guess so far. Just giving people a little time. We have one guess for Lansing. Anybody else have any other guesses?
Nobody else.
I forgot either A or D. We need one or the other, my friend.
You got to pick one, bro.
Stesio says Holtzville, which was A.
Anybody else?
Anybody? Bueller.
That's fine. We'll roll with it. Stesio got it. It's Holtzville.
Yeah, okay, and then Teal'c
Yeah.
got it right after, but yeah, Stesio was first. Holtzville, Stesio, my
Good job,
friend,
Stesio.
you are got two, so Stesio takes the lead over Tom there for the giveaway. So 2 for Stesio, 1 for Tom. Mateo threw in a guess of B, but yeah, no, I actually knew that one. That one I knew. I was like, oh, when I know, I got giddy, but I was like, bite your tongue, bite your tongue. Which man takes us to my favorite of the sequels. I know this is a fucking hot take, and I'm assuming you're going to be with me because I don't think Ravager's your next favorite sequel.
No.
Yeah, shocker of the night. For some reason, I always thought this was the best sequel of all of them, and I know it's one of the more hated ones, unfortunately. But of course, this is from the year 1998. I'm talking about Phantasm 4. Oblivion! Yes, Phantasm 4 Oblivion. This is a terrible plot synopsis from IMDb, but it's a one-sentence one. Mike travels through time and dimensions to find the tall man's origin. I guess they just didn't bother. Like, they were like, all right, this shit could be too complicated to get into a full plot synopsis. But I'm guessing this is your favorite of the sequels, and if so, why?
It is. It's absolutely my favorite of the sequels.
Hell yeah.
This was the first one that I remember being excited for and feeling the anticipation for before it came out. So this is, like I said, this is right around the time that I'd built my website, The Red Planet. This is where I'd started developing bonds and friendships with people, and just being super fucking hyped up for this. When I was there, I bought it on VHS the day that it came out. I remember taking it home and watching it for the first time. So a lot of nostalgia around this. That aside, this feels like a tonal return to the original film.
Yes.
And when I say a tonal return, I mean it returns to that sort of dark atmospheric vibe that the first one had. Sort of, especially with like the score was very sort of stripped down. Christopher Stone did this one. There's a lot of like atmosphere to it. It just feels very dark.
Yes.
That in combination with the cut footage from the original film, it just feels like it's like the spiritual sequel. Like Oblivion needs 2 and 3 to exist, but it could really be a direct sequel to the first film. And it's just a complete, like a perfect bookend to the series, in my opinion. And for almost 2 decades, I thought that it fucking was. You know what I mean? But yeah, so the whole thing with Mike and the tall man, and Mike has sort of given up, and he's sort of tired of running, and he's gonna try to kill himself, but the tall man won't let him, and he's not giving in. We totally forgot to mention in part 3 the whole sphere in the head thing. Like, what the fuck is going on? Right. So what is it? Is he putting a sphere in Mike's head? Is he taking a sphere out of Mike's head? And this is where it really starts to get fucking weird. And I would dare say almost Lynchian. Like,
sure.
What? Like I would, like, there are times where I often think of The Lost Highway, Mulholland Drive, when I think of these last couple of films here. And I think even as filler, they used the Lost Highway soundtrack as a sort of placement in Oblivion, until they were getting the score ready. So, the whole thing with the sphere in his head, like, is he taking it from Mike? Is he giving it to Mike? And then, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I have no idea. My interpretation is that he was putting a sphere in Mike's head for whatever reason, and Mike completely rejects it. Mike's like, I don't want whatever you're trying to give me. I don't want what you're trying to do to me. And then at the end, of course, the tall man's like, fuck it, I'm tired of fighting you. Takes it back out and leaves Mike to die. You even see the tall man kind of look over his shoulder, sort of disappointing, like the sort of disappointing look on his face as he goes through the space gate and sort of leaves Mike to die. That's my interpretation. Again, I think this is still a Reggie dream. It's in my head.
Sure,
this is what's going on. But yeah, so I don't know. It feels similar to the first film. Everything is shot at night, like the first film, a majority of the first film, which of course that was budgetary for Oblivion. But yeah, that's especially with the cut footage, which is only about 10 minutes of cut footage, but this film was written around that 10 minutes of cut footage from the original film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which it was amazing to see that because, of course, like I appreciated the tonal shift back, and not to say I don't appreciate 2 and 3, I do. I just think this was the only way you could take it at this time. And I know after part 3, Coscarelli had said, "Hey, I don't know how I would ever even do a fourth one." Like he had no ideas at
Right.
the time, but he came up with this, and like you said, he wrote it around some of the extra footage that we, of course, had not seen up to that point from the original Phantasm. And I thought that was a really smart direction to take it. Like, okay, this was half of this stuff wasn't used. Let me write an entire story around this. And they give the origin of the tall man, which I always
Right.
thought on paper, that's got to be that you can't do that. Why, like the whole beautiful thing about it is that he's this mysterious character. Like we don't need to know until I saw how they did it. And I thought the way they added that backstory was so good. And it made me almost more endeared to that character. And of course, the whole thing they do is that the tall man is really this guy that was named Jebediah Morningside, of course, ran the Morningside Cemetery, and he was fucking around with time travel. And then ultimately he goes through the 2 prongs and the space gate, and he comes back, not Jebediah Morningside, but the tall man. And even one of my favorite lines of the movie, Morningside doesn't come back. I love that. I love that line.
Yeah.
And of course, you see it's like the birth of the tall man before your eyes. And you see
Right.
it's just an expression change, right? It's still Angus Scrimm. It's still the same clothes, but the expression changes and you immediately go, that's bad news. Oh shit,
Right.
that's bad news. And I love that about this. There's way less comedy in this. I know there is the one, Reggie and Heidi Marnhart, I think is her name.
Yeah, that's her name.
The sphere yits. There's
Sphere
that in this.
titties.
Sphere, yes,
Yeah. Sphere
you have
tits.
well, yes, sphere yets. That okay. It's a laugh, but it's relief. The rest of it, I love the tone of this movie. Like it's so somber, and I
Yes.
think, like you said, it is the perfect bookend to it all because I always looked at this as like, to me, this movie asked you the question: was it all a dream? Was Phantasm
Right.
1, 2, 3, and Oblivion? Was it all a dream? Was it all just a dream? And that's one of the last things you see is they're driving off at the end of this. And I like to think of it that way. Like I like to think of this as the end, and it's up to us, right? What was real, what was not. You decide, right? The fans of Phantasm, you got 4 movies to play with, and
Right.
you can kind of let it cook in your own head. That's the beauty of this movie to me. I appreciate them going back to it, and like you said, it is the closest to the original in that way. Like I could watch 1 and
Right.
4 back to back, and you don't feel like you miss anything, even though, like you said, it needs 2 and 3 to exist in a way. So I don't know. That's what I like
Right.
about 4 so much.
Yeah, and that beautiful ending where, we get this close up tight shot on Mike's eye, and then obviously we're in his head, right? And we see he's a kid again. This is that cut scene from the original Phantasm. And it's windy outside and he's a boy again and he's looking around and he hops onto Reggie's ice cream truck and they
Mhm.
drive away and you can hear Reggie now talking to Mike, and Reggie's like, "Oh, what the fuck was that? What's going on?" And it's almost like Mike knows what's happening. That's what they blended this so beautifully with this original cut footage. And then Mike's like, "Oh, it's just the wind." And then they drive away, and
That's
that's
it.
it. And it's that dark. They drive away into the darkness. Is that Mike dying? Is that Mike driving into the darkness forever? Is this a loop of some kind? Is this going to happen again? Like, what the fuck is happening? Is it, I still think this is Reggie's dream, you know? But yeah, I think that would have been the perfect bookend. It's so poetic and so beautiful. And that is the moment where this became my favorite sequel. That ending, man, it fucking blew me away.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. And like, I think again, in movies where you add footage from previous movies, it can be cheap, right? I mean, we've seen it.
Yeah,
And there are movies I like that are stock footage movies, right? I love Silent Night, Deadly Night too. I think that's a fun ass movie, right? Because you have the best parts of the first Silent Night, Deadly Night, and then Eric Freeman's commentary and the eyebrows. And like, that's why I love that movie. It's cheap, but it has a charm to it. This, where you're adding all this extra footage from the original movie that wasn't used, the fact that they make the entire thing around it. It's not that it doesn't fit. It's that the rest of the movie fits because of this footage. And I think that was a really, really smart move, and something that, dare I say, I don't know if that's ever really had been done before, was to do a movie the way that they did this. And I don't know. I love all that. And I know you say you have your theories of it being Reggie's dream. I always felt that was Mike saying that it's gone. Like, that's it. Like, it was all a dream. It's all behind us. We're driving off. We're moving on. And like, to me, that comes all full circle from the point of the first movie of, you have to move on from the fear. You got to just move on. Like, that's how I look at it. But I love all the interpretations, right? I mean, it's just kind of fun to discuss. And that's Phantasm in a nutshell. It's whatever you want it to be. And that's why I love horror movies,
I agree 100%. Yeah. It's whatever you want it to be. Like I said, Phantasm and the series in general is an interpretive vehicle. It's whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
Whatever speaks to you the most.
Yeah, and there's a real beauty in that. I know a lot of people that people that can't get into the series, and I know it's funny. This is one of the more disliked sequels. Like, if Ravager doesn't ever come out, this is most people's least favorite sequel. Right. And I'm like, I get it, especially if you're like, let's say you are a big fan of 2 and 3. I could totally get being like, oh, they went back to what they did with the first movie. Like, I could see that mentality. Whereas I'm so big on the first movie, like the 2 and 3, and in this, it's like, oh, return to the basics. Like, I'm all for, and this one had a real shoestring budget. I mean, this one didn't even have. It wasn't like 3 or 2.5. I think I can get the budget up here.
Leave it alone. Leave it alone. That's one of my trivia questions.
Oh, is it? Okay, leave it alone. See, proof I didn't know. Proof I didn't know. Okay, let's see what the comments have to say. Let's see. All the movies are good except for Ravager. Yeah, I love the end credit song, "Have You Seen It" by Reggie Bannister, which samples the iconic theme.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's a beautiful song. This movie feels like it was originally going to be the final movie because of how at the beginning Reggie is telling the story. Yeah, this is the end to me. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about 5, but I don't have much to say. Definitely should have ended at 4. Yes. Reggie, if you're so strong and powerful, why haven't you killed us yet, tall man? You were my subject, and every tall man deserves an amusement, Ravager. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I've never seen 4. I have to check it out. I didn't know it was the first, or like the first, you said. Okay, yeah, like right. First. Yeah, it is. It really is. It's a total like throwback, and that's why I really like it. 20 years later, it's like basically Phantasm 20 years later, basically. I don't know, but in a lot of a good way. You have your trivia question, my friend. Stetio can take it home right here if he gets it. So somebody's got to stop Stetio if you want part 5's question to go, but you got it.
All right. You know what? I'm actually no, yeah, we'll go with this. I was going to change the question, but I don't have any more multiple choices off the top of my head. I was gonna go with something else, but we'll roll with this. So what was the budget for Phantasm Oblivion? Was it A, $650,000, B, $300,000, C, $1 million, or D, $400,000? So what was the budget for Phantasm Oblivion? $650,000 with A, B, $300,000, C, $1 million, or D, $400,000?
This one I knew, but only because I looked it up as we were talking. So I feel like I cheated. I can't participate. Anyone have any guesses here in the chat? We already have a guess. Let's see. Tom says A. Anyone else have any other guesses?
We'll give you 10 seconds. All right. I think that's going to be it.
Yeah. Stetio is right, but Tom got it first. It was A.
Tom did get it. Yep, that's right. It was A.
Tom ties it up. Holy shit. Yep. The 5th question is going to decide it all. So Tom with 2. And we'll have to decide this on a suicide trivia question. I don't know if you want to throw the Phantasm 5 question at the window, just do the bonus question.
No. I kept it really easy. So even if you've never seen Phantasm 5, the question, like you'll be able to get it. Trust me.
Okay, fair enough. Which brings us, my friend, this journey here, 18 years later, to a movie I never ever thought we would get. And I to this day am kind of surprised this is an official entry in the series, but it is. I'm talking, of course, about the movie from 2016. I'm talking about Phantasm Ravager. Yes, the final game now begins. Brief plot synopsis on this one. The final installment of the long-running Phantasm series. I swear to you, that's the fucking plot synopsis. Directed by David Hartman, of course, the first one not directed by Don Coscarelli.
Right.
And that is my biggest problem with this movie, because I don't know about you. I always felt this series, the beauty of it is it's one man's vision. It started with the low indie roots of a Don Coscarelli who's making these movies with his parents funding and helping, that bled into Universal Studios and the action and the great Nicotero effects, and to movies like Phantasm 3 with the fun trio, and then of course Oblivion, which goes back to the original and asks so many great philosophical questions. It all felt like one man's vision. Whereas this, to me, it just feels like a fan film. And I'm not trying to be mean. I really am not. But that's what this is to me. Matt Landrum, the floor is yours, though, man. What are your thoughts?
And that's okay to feel that way. And I feel that way too at sometimes. And I've felt that way actually for many years since it's come out, which I think it came out, 2015, 2016?
2016. It's almost at the 10-year mark.
Yeah, I think it actually just hit 9 years a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
So my heart was with Oblivion, and I, kind of already explained my sentimental attachment to that film, being there when it came out, how much I loved that film, what it means to me. So for almost 2 decades, I thought that was it. That's the end.
Sure.
So, I hear there's another one coming out. I'm getting excited. They're doing the Reggie's Tales thing, which, if you've never heard about it, Ravager was originally these shorts that Reggie starred in called Reggie's Tales, sort of like these online webisodes that they decided to go ahead and flesh out into a full-length feature. So I'd never seen any of it. Like I said, I'd kind of let the series go after Oblivion. I wasn't anticipating or expecting anything. So when I hear that there's a new Phantasm coming out, you have to understand, especially being as huge of a fucking fan as I am, that like you guys have got to deliver. You guys have got to deliver for your fans. And when I say fans, I mean fans with a capital fucking PH. You know what I mean? Like you can't drop the ball on this. You can't.
Can't drop the spear.
You can't drop the fucking sphere. You got it. But so I had a lot of expectations for this film. And I remember when it came out, I think I saw it on VOD. I can't remember if it was Amazon or where I saw it. But dude, right away, I was like, what the fuck am I watching, dude? Like the effects were just drivel and I didn't understand what was going on. And when I say I don't understand what's going on, I don't mean like in the same aspect as like the other Phantasm where you don't understand what's going on. I really didn't. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? This feels so broken. And then you find out that David Hartman, the director, did all of the effects on his laptop and they had no money. And yeah, I shit all over that film for many, many, many years. I saw it the one time. In fact, I didn't go back and watch it until we were getting ready for this stream. I was like, let me give it another shot. I flipped back through the Phantasm Exhumed book and they showered it with love. And I'm like, let me just give it another shot. And then it sort of clicked with me. I was like, this really is a love letter to Reggie Bannister. And as much as I hate the effects and the story feels weird and it feels like a fan movie, I love Reggie so much. He's my fucking hero. And then I start thinking about it through the eyes, through the lens that I was telling you about, that this has all been in his head. And then I start seeing that this is a man dying of dementia. None of it makes any sense because none of it makes any fucking sense to him. You know what I mean? I can look through the technical flaws. I can look through the bullshit CGI and the terrible effects, and I can see the big sphere that's destroying all the cities and stuff like that. That's the dementia destroying Reggie's mind. None of this makes any sense to him because he's fucking dying. And then what happens at the end? He dies. He passes away. And you've got Mike on one side and Jody on the other side. I feel like, but in his mind, you see Mike show up through that portal and he throws him the fucking 4-barrel shotgun, and together they start smoking fucking zombies and dwarves and shit like that, and then they all jump into the fucking Cuda, and who's driving? It's Jody.
Right.
It's his two best friends that he's loved his entire life. And at the very end, think about this, at the very end, Jody says, "Wow, what a way to start a trio." What's the very first line that Jody says to Reggie in Phantasm at Tommy's funeral?
What a way to break up
Wow,
the trio.
what a way to break up a trio.
Yeah.
So it's full circle. It's full circle. And that, to me, that's Reggie passing away. This has all been his mind collapsing. That's Reggie passing away. And that's Reggie's soul, spirit, legacy, whatever you want to call it, driving away with his two best friends that he's loved his entire life, that he's literally gone to hell and back for. And when I saw it with that perspective, I was like, I don't give a fuck about the shitty effects. I love this man. I love this film series. Yeah, it's not the greatest, but I'm not going to completely shit all over it. I'm in a different place with it now. So that's my take on the film. That's my observation. I had to grow up a little bit, and I had to wait almost a full decade to revisit it, to feel those feelings about it. And I'm glad
Right.
that I did. I'm glad that you invited me to come on this show so that I could go back and watch that and feel that way.
No, dude, that's beautiful. Everything you just said, I
Yeah,
think, is a beautiful way of looking at it. And I will say this too, even though I know I wasn't, the nicest when I was bringing the movie up. I will say, despite its flaws as well, it does have the heart there. I
heart.
think it
Yes.
misses. It misses on the technical. It misses on the. It's really missing Don. That's, to me, the biggest problem with it. But it's got the heart there. You're right. I think you're totally right. It has its heart in the right place. And this is something you got to keep in mind. I was first year of college when this came out, and I was damn excited too. But I was like, from the trailer, I was like, oh no! Like, I saw the
Yeah.
trailer and I went like, this isn't a real Phantasm. And then you see the Angus Scrim and Reggie Bannister, and I was like, holy shit, they're all fucking in it. And you got to keep in mind too, this was right around the time Angus passed away. I think Angus passed
Yes.
away very early 2016. So I went into it with the partial mind of like, for Angus, right? Like, that was a big
Right.
part. I was like, I'm going to give this a shot. And yeah, I'm not a fan of it then. I'm not really a fan of it now. But something you said really struck a nerve with me too, where you say, listen, this is Reggie and he's dying of dementia. And what I think is so sad is that bleeds into what's going on now with
It's
Reggie.
happening
And
right
like,
now.
if you look at it through that lens, I mean, it almost hits even harder. And I don't mean to, overstep or reach here, but I definitely, it's something that crossed my mind while rewatching this too. It's sad because, of course, I don't know if you wouldn't mind telling, because I don't know if everyone knows about Reggie's state right now. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
So it is unfortunate, and pretty much it's art imitating life. I mean, Reggie
Yeah,
Bannister, he's in hospice right now. He's suffering from the same disease, to my understanding, that he was dying from in Ravager. So from my understanding, he's been in hospice for, I think, since the beginning of the year or the middle
yeah,
of
I
the
think about
year,
a
something
year.
like that. Yeah, for about a year now. I know Gigi, his wife, is taking care of him. I don't have the information with me, but you can still write letters to him. I think they're accepting letters that you can write to Reggie. From my understanding, they're taking notes of everybody. They're keeping like a log of who's sending them stuff, and they plan to respond. Um, but yeah, I don't know if there's a timeline. I don't really know the details about that. But if you go find Gigi Bannister on Facebook, she's pretty cool about accepting friend requests. But even if you don't, you can go to her page. I think it's public, and somewhere listed on there, I think, is the mailing address where you can send cards and sentiments if you want to. And I know that information, I think, is in many of the Phantasm fan groups on Facebook also. So
Right.
honestly, I've thought about it. I haven't written to Reggie. I've wanted to. I even had that conversation with my wife tonight. I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it.
It's hard.
In many ways, I guess we're kind of talking about it now. But yeah, I just don't. I don't know. I don't know. It's going to happen eventually. I hope it's not too late when I do finally get around to it. Um, but yeah. Anyway, so not to
Yeah.
get too dark there.
No, no, not at all. Hey, listen, I think that's the thing. It shows why fans are the best. Like, I was watching May, which is a great movie. I always watch it in
Yeah.
Halloween season. And Jeremy Sisto did an interview, and he discussed meeting horror fans and how he's like, he goes, it's crazy for people that watch the most macabre stuff. They generally tend to be the most kind-hearted and compassionate people. And like, I think for sure that is on the money. Like this community, listen, I've met bad eggs in every community, but
Yeah.
there are fewer bad eggs in this one to me than any other. And I meet so many genuinely good people, such as yourself and other guests we've had on, people in the chat, like just nice, very compassionate people. And these movies, they mean a lot to us, right? I know some people that they look at me like I'm crazy. You're going to the Monroeville Mall, that's your vacation. Yeah, it mean a lot to me. These movies mean a lot. It's just how a big sports player might mean something to a little kid or to even a grown man. That we look at these actors, these characters that they play as heroes, and Reggie is totally a hero. And you even, I don't know if you still have the Reggie shirt. I don't know if you brought it back up, but
Oh, yeah.
if you want to show that off, please do.
I'll show it to you.
This is badass. I believe Fright Rags may still have these for sale. This is a badass shirt if you want to show some love for Reggie.
Yeah, I'll go back and check. It may still be available. It may have been like a limited thing, but it was for his 80th birthday. They put up a tribute shirt to Reggie, so I had to buy. Like I said, I almost wore it tonight, but I decided with the OG. But I brought it with me to show you. So this is it here. So you can kind of see it there. But it's Reggie, and it's got the giant sphere behind him, the 4-barrel shotgun, and it says, "Let's go kick some fucking ass." It doesn't say fucking. I added that in there.
You added the fuck.
But let's go kick some ass. And that's for Reggie, man. That's for the man himself.
Yeah, I at the beginning of this show, I was originally going to say let's dedicate it to Angus Scrimm, and of course we can do more than one dedication. I'd like to also dedicate it to Reggie Bannister, even though I do know he's still with us, obviously. Just for the laughs. I had some laughs this week, man. I've seen these movies before several times, but it never ceases to amaze me how charming Reggie Bannister is in this role. Like I'm like, dude, this is umpteenth time I've seen these movies, I'm still laughing. They did something right. It's powerful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see what the comments have to say. Let's see. I wonder, what did Don finally release the full version of the OG film that Oblivion used? To my knowledge, no, unless you know anything. I didn't think so.
No 3-hour cut out there.
No 3-hour. Release the Coscarelli. No, I follow a YouTube channel, Grimwood Hollow. He worked on the spheres for the movie, and he mentioned the budget was less than $1 million. Oh, wow. Okay, that's pretty cool. I guess this is in regards to Phantasm.
Oh, for Oblivion. Yeah.
Grimwood had a giveaway on his channel a few years ago where he gave away the Sentinel/Spheres from the original mold to use in the movie. Oh, that's pretty cool. A new Phantasms. You said it's called Reggie's Tales. Imagine that would have been funny. Instead of Ravager, they call it Reggie's Tales. This movie brings back the hot, sexy woman. Yes, the lady in lavender.
Yeah.
I was going to mention how Reggie's in hospice and how he is. Yeah, it is. It's very eerie. I agree. Ceccio, I'm turning 61 in a couple of months, and it's sad that all my heroes from the 70s, 80s are leaving. Yeah, no, listen, I'm not even 30, and these guys, it's like I remember Paul Farber saying something along the lines of this. Like I remember he said on one of the roundtables we did with Alpha, he's like, man, if you have the opportunity, go meet your heroes now. Do not fucking wait. Just let them know you appreciate their work and say something kind. And ever since I heard him say that, I truly if there's an opportunity, I do it because you never know. And it is nice to let these people know. Now, sometimes you get a weird reaction, but sometimes they really are appreciative and they say, hey, thank you so much for watching and supporting this, and that's a really cool, mutual feeling. At least I think so.
Sometimes you get a Savini who will look at you like a fucking deer in headlights.
Yeah, so I didn't want to say everybody. Because we said a few bad eggs, right? There's always some bad eggs. But man. Yeah, your Savini stories were, oh my God. Are you fucking kidding me?
Never again.
Never again. All right, Mr. Landrum, last trivia question. Break this tie. If somebody else gets it, we're going to have to go to the bonus question. But we are tied with Stetio and Tom, 2 apiece.
All right, I kept this one easy. You can't miss it, okay? So, what film director has a cameo in Phantasm Ravager? How many people in the chat have even fucking seen Ravager? I don't
I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I had seen it the one time when it came out, and then for this week. But I still don't have. I think it's a shame, man. Usually, I watch a movie, I have thoughts. I could sit down and be like, "Here's what I think." this is not one of those movies. I don't know, other than what I said, which was not much. I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
It's
I get
just
it.
blah. I don't know.
I get it 100%. So, okay. So I kept it really simple. So what film director has a cameo in Phantasm Ravager? Was it A, Quentin Tarantino, B, James Wan, C, Don Coscarelli, or D, Eli Roth? Clock's ticking. What
Yeah,
film director
people don't get this one.
What film director has a cameo in Phantasm Ravager? A, Quentin Tarantino, B, James Wan, C, Don Coscarelli, or D, Eli Roth?
We had a guess for Eli Roth. We have a guess for Don Coscarelli, and I think Stetio is just taking this thing. C or D, and then of course Tom says C. Okay, everybody getting C now, but it looks like Stetio was first, at least on my end.
Yeah.
So Stetio with
You got it.
3 out of 5. Stetio, you win, my friend. Do you want to say the bonus question just as a bonus? Because you totally can if you want to.
Yeah, let's do it. So
Bonus
Stetio won, right?
Stetio won. So bonus
Okay.
question, I guess, could be for whoever else.
Yeah, so Stetsio's getting the steelbook, the Phantasm
Yes.
steelbook, and this is the bonus question, which Stetio can still get. This is take it all, or somebody else can get this. Whoever answers this correctly the first. So, what brand of beer can be commonly seen throughout the original Phantasm, and is typically viewed as a running gag to try and spot when viewing the film? I'm not giving you any multiple choice, so you have to know what it is. You have to guess. And I'm drinking it tonight for this occasion. What brand of beer can be commonly seen throughout the original Phantasm and is typically viewed as a running gag to try and spot when viewing the film?
Start guessing beer companies, people. Start
While
throwing
we're
them
doing
out
that,
there.
I wanted to show this off to you. You mentioned something the other day about was it CK on Dead Pit that was talking about the Angus Scrimm mail-in autograph thing?
Right. Yes, it was with his dog.
So I want to show this off. So I
please
don't have it. I don't have an Angus Scrimm autograph. I wish that I did, but I have a very similar story. So this is right when Oblivion came out. This is right when I had my website and all that shit. Kristen Deem, the person I was telling you about, Angus Scrimm's close, like personal assistant and friend, confidant, also involved in the last couple of films. I know she was a professional photographer, took a lot of the photos from behind the scenes. I think she even did some script editing for some of the later stuff. Was it like an assistant all around? She gave me a mailing address for Michael Baldwin. So 14 years old, 15 years old, whatever, I was able to send a letter to Michael Baldwin, and he sent me this back in return.
Oh man, we got to see this.
Should have had it ready.
Oh, you're fine, dude. All good.
Hang tight.
We're hanging tight, hanging like the tall man in Oblivion with the extra footage. That was incredible how they did that, by the way.
Oh yeah, it was awesome, dude.
Yeah.
So there's my.
Oh, here, I'll minimize myself so you got it.
There you go. Yeah. To Matt, best wishes from A. Michael Baldwin. So that was my first autograph that I ever got. Was as a kid, 14, 15 years old. Sent to me directly from Michael Baldwin through the mail, for free. I didn't have to pay him. He was just a fucking cool dude. Knew that I was a kid that loved his work and sent that to me. So I'll cherish that forever. And that's fucking rad. And I even saved the piece of the envelope where he wrote my address. So I've got that behind here.
Oh, really?
I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. So, but that's
and so you got Reggie in there as well. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. This was I got this mail in too. Let's see if I can show it to you. I don't know if you can see. I got fucking terrible glare, but it's about as good as I can get it. So this was through Reggie and Gigi's mail order a couple years ago. This is before, I guess, things had started sort of progressed for him. But I think it says something like "keep your balls in the L." No. I think it says "keep your shells in your pocket" or something like that. Love Reggie. So yeah, that's another one that I'm going to keep forever. But
I love that, man. That is so
yeah.
cool. Yeah, that's quite. When you mentioned that time of 1998 and getting a free autograph, like to me, that's I've never, other than John Amplis, I've never experienced anyone saying, "Oh, don't worry about paying me." Like usually, it's
Yeah.
always part of it. But that's so cool of him to send him just free and like appreciated clearly. And then for Reggie to join on your chats, I mean, how
Oh
cool is that?
yeah, man. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Fucking
Big
rad.
dub for Matt for sure. We had a couple of somebody said cool autographs. Yes, that's absolutely agree. We had a couple of guesses. PBR, Milwaukee, Old Milwaukee, Lowenbrow, and Dos Equis. Those were the
Dos
guesses.
Equis. You got it, bro.
Tom, bonus question.
Yep. Dos
Cheers.
Equis. You win. Cheers, brother.
I don't always
Yeah.
drink, but when I do, we need Angus Scrim to come back to life and do that commercial. When I
That
do,
would
it's
be
the tall man. That would be
oh,
awesome.
it'd be fucking rad, dude. That'd be rad.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, Tom, okay, gets the VHS, right? So that he gets the
Yep,
original VHS of
he
Phantasm.
does.
So yeah, no, absolutely. If you guys don't follow Matt Landrum on Instagram, please do. It's M Landrum, right? It's just
Yeah, yeah. M Landrum on Instagram. And then I also have my YouTube channel, which is at Drone of the Dead. Just a series of drone videos that I've taken of different film locations, different cemeteries, macabre stuff. I get to it when I can. It's usually once a month, once every month. Just something, just somewhere to put that footage whenever I get out there and film it. So, we talked earlier about the 247, the roof from Dawn of the
right.
Dead. I've got a video up on that. Got some other cool shit. My Day of the Dead filming location from down in Fort Myers has got like 6,000 views or something like that. That seems to be getting a lot of my subscribers. Not that I'm hunting any of that stuff down. Like I said, I'm not chasing clicks and likes and shit like that. But
No, definitely not.
if you feel so inclined, at Drone of the Dead, I typically post whenever I can. So
Yeah, I'll put it for anybody catching the replay. I'll catch it. I'll put it down below in the description, so you can just click in the description box, click it, and please give Matt Landrum some views and subscriptions because he's one of the best people that we know. And then, of course, if you want to follow him on Instagram, you can do that there as well. Matt, I gotta thank you, man, for not only for just making the time, not only for this nice gift that you sent over, and not only for being a friend, but dude, just taking this journey with me here tonight. It felt like a road trip of our own of Reggie and
yeah,
Mike, if you will, talking all things Tall Man, Coscarelli, and Phantasm, and everything in between. It's been a lot of fun, man. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on here tonight because it was a blast.
yeah. Thank you for having me. Like I said, you've kind of afforded me an opportunity to kind of go back and revisit some stuff. A lot of these films I know like the back of my hand, but especially being able to kind of go back and revisit Ravager a little bit and sort of put some thoughts in my head about some things. That aside, I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to come hang out with you, man. It means a lot.
Dude, of course, anytime. And anytime you want to talk anything, if you have ideas or things that you want to talk about, I know obviously you definitely have more than one diehard passion, right? And I know we haven't had
Oh yeah.
a Fulci conversation on here, which
Oh yeah.
I always keep that door open for you. And of course, Fulci the dog, who didn't make an appearance tonight, but
He's too dirty, man. He's fucking filthy. I was gonna let him hang out, but he's like covered in. He went out and played in the fucking mud, so I didn't let him come in, man. He could have come in and said hello, but he's filthy, man. I'm not letting him on my fucking couch.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I think you made the right call there. But everybody, yeah, no, this was a lot of fun, of course. Tom, of course, says interesting stream going to rewatch the original. Awesome, man. Thank you so much. Fun fact, Reggie and Angus were both in the OG Wishmaster. Absolutely, they were. But yeah, no, just thank you so much for making the time tonight. Now, I'm sad that we're not going to meet in person tomorrow, but I will keep the book
No.
open. We will meet down the road. And if it's not in the Dunsmuir house, we'll meet in Braddock, and you're going to have to protect
Yes.
my ass. I'm holding you
You
to
owe
it.
me. You owe me a fucking Braddock trip, dude. We're gonna do it.
I'm there. I'm so there as long as you're there. And we'll have a great time. But everybody on the Graveyard, thank you so much for watching. Of course, if you're catching the replay of the stream, comment down below. Let us know what your favorite Phantasm movie is. And maybe if you are so inclined to let us know the rankings of each. And of course, next week, it's the big Halloween spectacular. I'm very excited. I've got trivia planned. I've got some fun tier lists. We've got scary stories to tell in the dark. That's not just going to be read by me. We have some of the subscribers that are going to be participating in that. So I'm very much looking forward to it. And a lot of more fun things planned. candy eating. I'll be dressing up the whole 9 yards. Very excited for next week's Halloween spooky spooktacular, if you will. But everyone, of course, please do have a safe, happy, healthy weekend. October is coming to an end. I'm already sad about it. The graveyard schedule will be up on Sunday for November, so I'll also be posting that. And one more time, everyone, cheers this man, Matt Landrum. Cheers your Dos Equis to him if you've got one.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much, Matt Landrum, for making
Cheers.
time here tonight. Cheers. I don't have anything but cheers. Cheers to you, my
It's
friend.
all good, man.
Absolutely. Everybody, have a safe, happy, healthy weekend. 2 sweet peace, and we will catch you next time only on the graveyard. Ah, boy. All right.